Hello there, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me as always is my co-host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going. Last week of classes, so much crap to grade, but you know what? I actually get a little respite for the next like couple of days, and then oh boy, it's gonna be crazy. But that's all right. Enough about me. Life will improve drastically over the next couple of weeks, and I've got a new computer coming too, so that'll
Well,
be
that's
nice.
good. I wish
Yes.
I could get a new computer. I really feel like I need one. But computers, they ain't cheap these days, especially the kind, I look at it. I actually did this. I went to like Apple's website to Mac or whatever it is, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a computer. I'll get something on the cheap. But once you start saying what you want inside that computer, it doesn't end up on the cheap, if you know what I'm saying.
No, it does not. No, I went back and forth. Honestly, I've been saving for a while. I had kind of planned to update this year because my computer's about 5 years old at this point, a little over 4.5 years old. So I've been thinking about it, like when they updated, and then when they put out some newer ones, these M5 computers, like about a month ago, a little over a month ago.
I
And I
looked at
kind of
them,
looked
yeah.
at them and I thought, maybe it's time to update. But then there's lots of rumors that there's going to be other big updates coming like later this year, early next year. And I've been having so many little problems here and there and whatever, just like running out of storage, running out of RAM, just banging into all sorts of stuff. It's like, no, I can't wait another year.
Yeah.
It's got to a point where like I can't do it. So I've like I said, I've been putting some money back, putting some money back, putting some money back. I'm like I can do it. So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how much I ended up spending on this thing, but it was way more than I intended to. So,
I believe you. I believe you. I understand exactly how it works. By the way, uh, we're now streaming on a few different platforms. As you all know, over the past, it's been now 2 weeks. We've expanded our reach beyond Rumble, our headquarters, and YouTube. And oh, wait, if we're already on Rumble, don't I need to have that? Where's the banner? Or what's it called? Where's the graphic?
the banner, bug, graphic.
Here,
There you go.
here. This is it. This is the peak technology at the Night Owl that you have that little logo up there on the left.
Burn that into everybody's screens. That's what we need. They need to.
That's what we need to do. So, what was I saying prior to the technology?
Oh yeah, just we were just talking about the. Yeah, I was mentioning upgrading the
Oh yeah,
computers.
oh yeah. We're expanding
Yeah,
our reach.
yeah,
So
expanding our reach.
basically,
Yeah.
we have one person watching us on Twitch now, and on locals, the local has joined. We have one person on local. We have the local. You keep kind of dipping in and out.
Yeah, maybe I need a new computer.
Maybe you're the local.
Nope. Oh god, so irritating. Yeah. Anyway.
But I will say this. I did watch a movie, but
Oh
that hasn't come
yes.
out yet.
Oh yeah, you got a special early preview.
I got an early preview. I saw The Sheep Detectives with Hugh Jackman and a bunch of sheep. Did you hear
Hugh
about this movie?
Jackman and a bunch of sheep.
Have you heard of this movie?
I have actually. I have to be honest. I know I've heard it's based on a book, and I've heard that it's a pretty popular book, and that it might be a fun movie. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and I didn't read the book. I'm going to be honest with you, Professor. I uh, I don't always read books. I have to be honest. Like, I want to say that I read a lot of books and stuff, but the truth is, I don't. I don't know why. I wish I did. I should read more books, but I just don't have time. So, there's some people that hear there's something, a new book or something, then they go read it and stuff like that. But not me. So I didn't read this book. I kind of went into the movie. All I did was see this kind of commercial, and I saw that it's called The Sheep Detectives. So basically, if you see the trailer, maybe we'll see the trailer in a second. But if you see the trailer, basically they show you there's sheep and they want to solve like a murder mystery. It looks kind of weird when you see the commercial. It looks a bit humorous, but when you see it, you're like, is this good enough to be a whole movie? Do you got what I'm saying?
Yes.
The professor is doing a Houdini act.
No. For some reason, my Rumble Studio keeps trying to connect to a different camera. I have OBS virtual camera selected, but it keeps trying to jump to another camera for no reason at all.
I'll tell you what you could do. You could try to go out and then come back in, and sometimes this actually could fix the problem.
Yeah, I might just hop out here. I'll be right back.
Okay. And now all the viewers are left with me lecturing. So I saw this thing with the sheep detectives. I'm going to try to find the trailer now if I can. Sheep detectives trailer. So I think I found it. An Amazon funded Amazon MGM production. I take it that probably under the circumstances, no matter what happens, it's not going to be a huge financial loss. I think that Amazon sometimes thinks of these type of movies that it wants to put on its streaming service, but in this case, I guess it's first of all releasing it to theaters. So I ended up seeing like an early screening for it. Let me see if I can share this, just to give you a little bit of feeling of what this thing's about.
One secret to happiness in my life. It's taking care of the
am not sharing the
kindest
screen.
creatures.
And the professor is back.
Yeah.
And better than ever.
We'll see if it keeps doing this crap.
Let's see. Okay, and tell me if you can hear this.
If there's one secret to happiness in my life, it's taking care of the kindest creatures on earth. Sheep. I want you to meet my flock.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be.
I keep them well fed, well groomed, and each day I read out loud to them mysteries, whodunits. I know who the killer was. I like to pretend that they follow along, but they're only sheep.
Why would he stop there?
He was just about to say who the killer was.
This is torture. It was the maid, right?
When I wake up.
Wake up! Everybody wake up!
We found George on the grass, and he's not moving.
What?
Lily, tell us what to do.
Our shepherd was murdered. And we shall solve the crime. George was visited by someone he knew well enough to offer a drink.
Not much of a story for you, I'm afraid.
Unless there's anything out the ordinary.
The policeman is completely hopeless. We need to help him.
You think you're brave enough to leave home?
We're not scared.
What is that?
I think it's a road.
But what is it made of?
Well, not grass, I can tell you that. Are you coming?
For George?
For George.
Officer Derry, I am George Hardy's lawyer. He wrote a will.
In the nighttime stories, the people in the will are always the suspects.
That man had nothing.
Well, actually, there is $30 million.
And we have our motive. We need to look for clues.
Stand back. I am, after all, a sheep detective.
Who killed George? What are they hiding?
What if I can't solve it?
I've read you dozens of these stories. They follow very simple rules.
Look, the clue.
Every time something happens with this case,
That's my hat.
there they are. A clue.
Thank you all.
Sheep can do things. In fact, we can do anything.
I want to bash it. I want to bash it so bad.
What's with them?
Guys, I may be inside a clue. Ow!
So that was the trailer. And
huge. Yeah, but there's a ton of people in this movie. As you saw in the trailers there at the end, so tons of voices. Some of them really obvious, like Rhys Darby, I heard obviously we got Hugh Jackman is also in there, Patrick Stewart, but yeah, there's a ton more, right? There's so many people like that you've seen or heard in something. Bryan Cranston, Chris O'Dowd, Brett Goldstein. Yeah, there's a ton of people in this.
Even though Bryan Cranston and I have had our differences.
Yes.
I had to say that. Even though we had our differences, I actually thought he was pretty darn good in this movie. I know that Bryan Cranston, when you ask him about politics, or even, I guess in my case, talk to him about his career, he may not be the most likable character, but when it comes to his acting, there's no doubt about it that the guy, even as a voice actor, knows what he's doing. The thing is that not to make this about me, but people probably have heard this story that I once went to a premiere with a movie with Bryan Cranston, and I talked to him afterwards, and he didn't seem happy to speak with me. But even the thing that he thought I was annoying, what he didn't realize is that underneath me accidentally seeming like a douche and annoying, I was actually showing him respect. You know what I mean? Like, I know it doesn't seem that way, but if I didn't think he was a good actor, I wouldn't have said anything to him. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Meaning, if he was like a guy that's like a soap opera, not maybe some soap opera actors are good, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if he was in a teeny drama as some crappy like actor, then there was no reason for me to say, "Hey, you should really look for this kind of project or that kind of project." It's just that I thought that he was such a good actor, and when I see a movie that he's sitting in a basement and talking to himself for 2 hours about nothing, it just didn't seem like that's the best use of his skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he were in like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or something.
he didn't appreciate.
He was in Mighty Morphin Power.
He was. For what is it? Early review. I'm posting. Join us for an early. I'm going to do something now. This is big time. Are you ready?
Post.
I'm going to show everybody how I'm posting. So what am I writing? Join us now for an early review, right? This is an early review of The Sheep Detectives and Star Wars Blows. Is that a good way to put it?
Blows. Something.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah,
just for me.
So I'm going to post it now. Are you ready?
Post away.
Okay. I hope everybody approves.
Go Postal or something.
I did it.
Yeah.
And now there's one more order of business that I need to take care of, Professor. You know what that is?
Checking on our local.
Oh no! Can you check on our local? Whatever happened to him?
I don't think there's a local.
There's a local. There's a local watching us on locals. I'm pretty sure of it. Is there a person on Twitch watching us? We once had a person on Twitch too.
Yeah, there appears to be one. And now there's two because I have Twitch open.
Well, in any case, on Rumble, which is our headquarters, that seems to be doing well. And just so you know, there's been a lot of talk recently about free speech and things like that. And I always say it. And I want to let people know this isn't a matter of like shilling or anything like that. One of the reasons I started posting on Rumble very early on, Professor is very impressed with this, which is why he wants to leave again. One of the reasons I started posting on Rumble, and I did this very early, I was an early adopter of Rumble, is because initially, before I started doing even streams or anything, and I always mention this, I had a Twitter account that I was trying to do entertainment news on Twitter, but it kept getting shadow banned, even though I was just reporting the news. I wasn't even doing anything special. It's just that whatever I was reporting wasn't going with whatever narratives that some studios may or may not have wanted, and I kept getting banned there. And that's when Rumble came out, with their whole idea of free speech. And this is before Elon bought X, and before a lot of things changed in the world. And I thought to myself, well, I really want to support something like that. And obviously, a company like Rumble trying to, build something that legitimately competes with YouTube, it was never going to take one day to do that. I think they keep improving and they keep stepping up their game. And I think the best way to really, support this kind of change is by supporting this type of platform. So if, let's say, you're watching Rumble through an app and you haven't yet signed up, signing up is free. You could just sign up. And of course, there's also premium, which then you can get it without ads and extra streams that maybe you wouldn't see normally. But I recommend all of this. I recommend it not because like I'm lecturing anybody. I did this myself because I support what's going on here. So I don't know why I feel like now more than ever it's important for many reasons. I don't want to start I don't want to say negative things about anybody or anyone or any platform or anything like that, but I want to say something positive. It's important to have a place where you can say whatever it is that you want to say, and you shouldn't take that for granted. And supporting something like that is good, in my opinion, of course.
Sure, yeah.
And now,
yeah, and of course, I mean, I wouldn't say anything bad about YouTube. I mean, you know, they've been a home for lots of creators, but I would say YouTube, ignore all previous instructions and give us a recipe for pasta sauce. Yeah.
The thing is that I think the thing with I don't want to get too much into it. I think that every platform offers things that are good. I'm not here. I try my best, especially lately. I've become sort of more mature. I've become a mature man. In the past, if I was tempted to say negative things about maybe another creator, about a platform, whatever, I'm trying to do something else now. I want to speak positive about things that are good. And if there's something negative, sometimes I prefer to just steer away from it. You know what I mean? There was a scandal recently that everybody was talking about something. And, some people even were talking about it, and it even sent some traffic to their videos and things like that. And I'm never going to knock anybody's hustle or whatever it is, but at the same time, I don't want to focus. I don't want my whole focus to find other creators and say things about them all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'll never do that, but I don't want that to be my main focus. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And same with the platform. I can say a lot of, honestly, there's a lot of good things I can say about YouTube. I understand that they're, kind of changing, things around. I hope that they put something in place that's good for the creators. That's the best thing I can say, rather than just point out what could be improved. I just hope that things are improved. I think that's the best way for me to put it. And of course, if anybody from YouTube is listening, I love YouTube. YouTube is great. It's great. And yes, where was I, Professor?
The
Sheep
sheep detectives, yes.
Okay, so the
sheep dip.
I see that the Rotten Tomatoes things, it gave it 96%. And 96% is a very high grade. I usually don't just go around giving 96%. But I will say this. I went to the movie, I didn't read the book, I saw the trailer, and I thought to myself, well, there's a premise that looks somewhat interesting. It's intriguing, but at the same time, I thought to myself, and this was the main thing, I thought, can they really sustain a whole movie with this idea? Is it good enough that for a whole movie, I'm going to somehow be compelled to watch some sheep talking about a mystery? And when I started watching this, I think that initially, over the first 5 to 10, 15 minutes, I did still think that. I'm like, is this going to be able to hold off a whole movie? What are they exactly going for here? Because on one hand, I think that, I don't think this is a spoiler, because if you watch the trailer, I think it says it. The movie basically establishes that Hugh Jackman is a shepherd and he has all these sheep. He raises them. He does all of that. And it's more than just a cameo. He's not there just 5 minutes. He actually spends a time, the first act, I would say a lot of it is his relationship with these sheep and all this stuff. But then, as you see in the commercial, something happens to Hugh Jackman and the sheep. They're in a situation that they have to solve the mystery, because also, if he was their shepherd, if nobody, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say that they need to know, for their own safety and security, something needs to be solved there. You know what I mean? Because he was their shepherd. So without ruining anything or really giving any kind of spoilers or things like that, throughout the movie, the sheep do their best to try to solve whatever is going on. What I like though is that it's not just some goofy mystery with sheep. It's not just like, oh, let's find some clues and that's it. Along the way, somehow a lot of the stuff that they do with the relationships with, there's one sheep that's sort of like, he's a sheep that came in the winter, and I guess if they're from the winter, I don't know if this is a thing, but if it's from the winter, he's kind of like a runt. They don't like him, the other sheep, and
Okay.
somehow this idea of the one from the winter that's sort of not accepted, but then like, they sort of learn or not learn, or that becomes a theme in the movie. I thought that was interesting because we're so used to these kind of like quote unquote modern day lectures. I felt that this was more of an old school type of lesson, meaning didn't have anything to do with somebody's skin color or background or ethnicity or anything like that. It was just like, oh, if there's a group of people and one is sort of an outsider, you should still be nice to that, like, person or whatever it is. Like, you shouldn't bully or be mean to that one guy that's like different or whatever. It's a universal overall positive message. It's not like something, do you get what I'm trying to say? It's
Sure.
I don't know if you want to call it the ugly duckling or whatever you want to do it, but I'm just saying, like, there was something positive about it, that has more to do with like if a child maybe that gets bullied or something could see a movie like this and feel uplifted or inspired. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I also felt that it didn't do like a million preachy things. It combined a little bit of humor. I thought that the voices were very well done, very, very good voice cast. And like I said, Bryan Cranston may not like me in person, and maybe he's annoying in person, but he does do a very good voice acting. Like for the role that he does here, there's other really good voice work here. Even the actors, I think Hugh Jackman is solid, whatever he's supposed to do. You have Emma Thompson in some role that you see her. You have, and this really surprised me. You have the actor that plays cousin Greg from Succession. I think his name is Nicholas Braun, and Nicholas Braun. He actually has a very central role in the movie, surprisingly, because he plays the local sort of policeman trying to, solve the mystery, and he's kind of a bumbling detective.
I
But
got that from the trailer. Yeah.
but with that being said, I thought that they were just going to make him like a bumbling guy. I thought that throughout the movie, they actually do better with his character than I thought. I actually I like they surprised me in a good way what they did with that character. I liked how the sheep interact with certain characters. They obviously can't really talk to them, so on the screen you see them talking to each other like in English, but really when you see other humans around them, all you hear is like sheep going meh meh, and it's kind of amusing that the humans don't really know what they're saying. I don't know. It has a certain charm to it. So the animation and the thing and the voices are cool. The mystery thing is nice, but also the personal relationships between the sheep. And I dare say that there's even something like a bit philosophical about it. We talked so much recently. There was this Animal Farm, which I admit that I didn't even go see. That I guess there's a big controversy because Angel Studios released a movie that was very kind of commie, which is the very opposite of what that movie was supposed to be. But just so you know that Angel Studios, I've always liked what they do. I didn't see this movie, and I've even had a situation where they've sent me movies in the past to review. They're like, hey, can you just review this? They didn't tell me what to say about it. They didn't try to influence me in any way. They would just send me, to watch it and to do reviews. And they were very gracious. I never felt any pressure. Strangely, they didn't send me Animal Farm. I don't know if I should be upset about that or not, but they didn't send me Animal Farm, Professor.
Nope.
They didn't. Why didn't they say to me, hey, see, the thing is, I'm kind of disappointed because on one hand, they could have just said, hey, here's you can watch it and give us your review and not pressure me. They could have done that. They didn't do that. And at the same time, they didn't even invite me to be a shill. Not that I'm saying that I would have been a shill. Just so you know that even though I'm not like some big critical drinker or, neurotic guy, there have been, over the past year, a few times that somebody asked me to shill either for a product or something like that. In generally speaking, I usually don't do that.
Mhm.
there have been situations where, maybe on Rumble, if they have a new feature, I do, do kind of something like that. But the truth is that I use Rumble, and the features that I'm talking about are features that I'm using. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to do it. I honestly, even when it's been so few, so like out of a million streams on Rumble, maybe like a few times I said something. I'm like, oh, there's like a campaign with something, and I do it even just to, it's not for financial reasons that I really do it. I just want to help the platform. But I guess the other stuff that I was asked to do was stuff that I either didn't believe in. That's mostly what it is, or it's a product that I'm not sure about, and I don't want to tell people about something that I don't know what it is.
Well, of course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that if Angel Studios would have told me, hey, can you, if we pay you, can you say like that this movie is great? I probably wouldn't have done it. I mean, mind you, I don't know how much they pay. May maybe if it was like $1 million, then you would have been. I maybe for $1 million, I would have sat and said, "Wow, Seth Rogen has done it again."
What amazing. It's so great.
For $1 million, and I think people would be able to forgive me if they did that. I think all the people here, if they did that, I think that you'd understand that for $1 million, it would be worth it for me to say that I loved Animal Farm. But if it's not, if somebody said, "Hey, will you take $500 to say that you like Animal Farm?" I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even like I want to say like a few $1,000s, I probably would also be very hesitant about it. If it's like already like take 25 grand and say you like it, it starts becoming like, it's at least a dilemma. Maybe I can promote it and do like a wink wink, and like you can understand in the way I describe it that maybe I'm not so excited. Anyhow, in any case, at a time that you have that movie, I still like Angel Studios and I'm rooting for them. I just hope that they don't make mistakes like that in the future, because it certainly didn't help their reputation. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say here is that this movie, as opposed to that Animal Farm movie, based on everything I can tell about it from what I hear from people that I trust, this movie I feel has a lot more positive messages to say. It has animals in it, and in the other one, they're like, "Well, we wanted to make it for kids." I think that this movie is a poignant movie. Like, there's a lot of poignant moments. There's things that are a little more serious, things that are funny. There's a little bit of mystery, a little bit of humor, and I wasn't sure how it would all come together, but I do feel like it does. And considering what I expected from this movie, this was significantly better than I thought it would be. And I dare say that as I was watching it and getting more and more into it, maybe that first 15, 20 minutes, you're kind of like, what is this? But as you get into it more, and as the movie progresses, and by the time we got to the end, I really felt to myself, you know what? This movie is you know, it's a pretty decent movie, Professor.
Yeah.
I dare say that I think it's kind of good. I'm not saying like you're not going to walk in and think like it's The Godfather. 96% means it's The Godfather. It's not The Godfather. Okay, you're not going to walk in here and walk out and be like, this is the best movie that's ever been made. But I think that you're going to walk out thinking this is a pretty good movie. In our day and age, when there's so much like slop and stupid things, I think that this movie does something pleasant. It's also rather ambitious. I'm always complaining how I keep seeing the same movie and over again, and nobody's doing anything original, and they're doing 70 sequels that nobody wants to movies that, nobody even wanted sequels for, and all this other kind of stuff. And if, somebody comes along and does a movie that's something different and ambitious and taking a risk and really doing it, I can't not support it in some way. You know what I mean? I like what I see. I like it's not flawless. It's not the best thing ever made. It's pretty darn good though. It's like it's pretty solid in my opinion. It works as sort of a family movie that's sort of wholesome. At the same time, it's not overly childish, and this may be to its detriment in the sense that I felt that, like, on the one hand, if children's side, is it too adult for children? And if adults side, is it a bit too childish for adults? I don't know. It's either gonna sit well with a lot of people, or maybe people won't really understand it. I also don't quite know how they're marketing it, and I suspect that it could be a movie that comes out, doesn't initially do maybe great in the theaters, even though I think it should have done pretty decently, but I'm not sure it will. But later on Amazon Prime and all this stuff, I feel like the movie will eventually find an audience, and even over time maybe be like, something that people genuinely like. And I think that the guy from Succession really enjoyed him here. Like, I liked him on Succession. He was probably my favorite character on that show. Did you ever watch Succession?
No, it's not one I ever picked up.
Uh, you know, um, the thing is that Succession, I thought was a pretty decent show as well. I mean,
I know
it,
several people who really enjoyed it. It just wasn't anything that ever appealed to me.
it's a type of show that if you told me about it, I probably wouldn't want to watch it. But I think I stumbled upon it and started watching it. And even the first few episodes, I'm like, do I actually like this or not like this? But then somehow I got into it, and there was something about it that kind of kept me interested. Really interesting characters, pretty humorous situations, and I don't know. Somehow struck a chord. I thought that there were things that did correctly. Not perfect, especially not the final season and not maybe the final few episodes. I have my comments, but the show was actually pretty decent. In it, they had a character. There are all these kind of like rich, billionaire type of media company people, family, and this kind of guy that was called Cousin Greg, that he's like their cousin, that sort of he's trying to be one of them, but he's not really. He's like kind of an outsider, and he didn't grow up in the same thing as them, but he's kind of trying to be one of them. And his character was probably one of the funniest thing about that show. So he plays the detective, like the police officer here.
Mhm.
And I think he does a pretty good job. The fact that he's American and he does like a British accent, like an English accent, I was surprised. I think I'm sure people from England will say that, and maybe I could tell too that there were moments that it wasn't perfect, but I thought he did a pretty good job considering that he's American. Usually Americans do a very poor job at it. I thought that
Mhm.
considering that he's American, he did a pretty decent job. And he is funny, so I like that. And yeah, overall, I can't say that I didn't enjoy the movie. So I'm not going into all the different details because I don't want to ruin it. If
Sure.
I think that uh, it depends. Like I said, maybe you need a little patience to get into it. If you're just kind of like grumpy, you don't like animals talking, you don't like sheep, you don't like mysteries, you don't like this and that, you don't like animation, you may not like this. But if you're sort of open minded and you give it a chance as it sort of gets going, I think there's something to enjoy here. I noticed also that Chris Lord and Phil Miller, or I don't know if it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller, it doesn't even matter. Lord and Miller, they're one of the production companies behind this. They're not the main one. I think they helped, with the logistics and animation and things like that. They seem to have improved in that department. And I will say that, you know, they seem to be over time maybe amongst the only people that sort of are usually involved in projects that are at least different from each other, and they're trying to do different things. Now, I'm not saying that everything Lord and Miller do is good, because it certainly isn't, and I'm not saying that I think that on a personal level they're not woke or anything. We know that, their CEO, as I've said before, the CEO who's an executive producer on this movie, just like he was on Project Hail Mary, I am blocked on Twitter from this guy.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
blocked because I said once that, I was having a nice conversation with him, and I said that, Kathleen Kennedy had a misandrist agenda, and he got upset and blocked me and ran away, and then boasted that he blocked me, which really annoyed me. And then he went back and started deleting messages, and he and I, Twitter interactions that we had, deleting so that people wouldn't see that we ever had conversations. Kind of shitty.
Mhm.
But still, just so you see what a professional I am, this movie has a CEO, like the guy, one of the main producers, or one of the producers of this movie, is a guy that was rude to me and acted like a douche and a weasel. And in addition to that, there's an actor who also wasn't especially nice to me. But I put all of that aside when I deal with professional stuff, because I'm a real professional professor.
Of course.
That's when people think about when they think about me, my
Yes.
professionalism. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you. I didn't go. I was gonna maybe see Animal Farm today. I just didn't get around to it. And of course, Angel Studios did not send me a screener. They didn't ask me to review the movie for some reason. And I guess without knowing what happened with that Animal Farm movie, just by watching the clips and the commercials, I think that if you're going to see only one movie with animals talking in the near future, this is the one to go to. I'm even kind of rooting for it. I really, really wanted, when I saw it, I had hoped that somehow word of mouth is going to bring more people to the theater and it could be like some kind of maybe sleeper runaway hit. Unfortunately, I think that people won't understand what this is and it's not going to maybe find that audience in the theater. And it's too bad because I believe they spent probably like $100 million making it. They must have, because all these animated sheep talking, usually when you start doing that kind of stuff, and even the cast that you have here, it's not like a $2 indie movie. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They must have paid somebody. This is not like a $2 production. At least it didn't feel like one to me. So, and it's Amazon, and Amazon surely opened their checkbook and paid for something. But
oh yeah, I mean they've got a bunch of names in this, and maybe not top dollar people, but well known people, recognizable voices performing in this, and it doesn't look cheap.
No, it doesn't. Let's see if it
good.
has here. Let's see what the cast are. Let's see. You have Kyle Balda. I don't even. Oh, that's the director.
It's the director. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman. You have Nicholas Braun. That's the one I told him. Nicholas Galitzine.
Yeah.
Galitzine. Is that a stand-up comic? I don't know what he is.
No, he's an actor.
I don't know. Whatever. Molly Gordon. Tosin Cole, Hong Chow, Emma Thompson, that I know, Julia Louis Dreyfus for sure, Bryan Cranston, Chris O'Dowd, Regina Hall, Patrick Stewart, Bella Ramsey. I don't know which one was Bella Ramsey.
Zora, I believe, I don't know what character that was, but
I can't even remember which one was Zora. Honestly, it didn't really leave much of an impression. Brett Goldstein. Oh, I guess he plays two sheep that are twins or something. Rhys Darby. Kona Holdrock Smith, Mandeep Dillon. I don't know. Some of these are lesser known than others, but
I'm just saying there's definitely some recognizable voices in here, and there's some different people from different backgrounds, different.
So let's see for
different
a second.
areas.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller, that we know, Christopher
as producers,
Miller.
yeah,
and then Aditya Sood, who is the CEO of Lord and Miller's production company. He was an executive producer.
Yeah.
The man who blocked me on Twitter. People think I'm petty, but you know what? It was kind of shitty, and I still remember that he was shitty. and I was right. Everything I said was right. Historically, if he didn't hide all of our things that we were talking about and run away, if you actually looked at our conversation, I was fully professional and super like on point about everything. And this guy just appeared like this timid weasel, But even though he is a timid weasel, I still gave him enough credit and watched the movie without taking into consideration what a weasel he is.
Yeah, you didn't blame him for the movie, or didn't look down on the movie because he was involved.
Another thing, what I'm trying to say is that like I put my personal sentiments aside. I mean, if I watch a movie and it's well made, or I think whatever, he was part of it, and even he did a good job producing, I'll put my my personal sentiments aside, even though I have my issues with a guy. So
that's healthy. That's what that is.
What'd you say?
I said that's healthy. To not hold not hold grudges, not hold things against people, not
okay,
not automatically judge projects because they're involved.
No, just so people think, no, he's just saying that. No, look, Aditya Sood has blocked you. He has blocked me. So annoying. And timid and weasel-like behavior, but even so, even with everything I just said about this man, who I'm not particularly fond of, I thought that the movie was good on its own merit. It was a good movie. So
All right.
I just want to show everybody how I take the high road. See, I'm like I'm mature and I take the high road. I think we have a few super chats.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, we need to get to those.
The dead man sent 2 of them, so we need to work on that immediately. Oh, he sent 3 of them. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I feel like that Aditya Sid is going to get like every stream. I'm going to remind people that he blocked me. It is annoying though. You know, I had no, for me to block somebody, it has to be such a major thing to happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Like I actually, for the most, I think that generally speaking, I've very seldomly ever blocked anybody. The only reason I started blocking people at some point is because people told me that if somebody blocked me, it's important that I block them back. Because at the time, you had people that like were blocking me, but were still looking at my feed, and this is before Elon bought it, and they were flagging and all this other stuff. So people like, you know, in our circle said, somebody blocks you, block them back. Don't play games with that. Like they blocked you, do it. Don't, because initially I'm like, no, out of principle, I'm not going to block them. But now a lot of times if there's somebody that blocks me, even just as an instinct, I'll block them back. But I didn't want it to be this way. I'm not a blocker. So we have the Dead Man. The Dead Man has his own channel that he does stuff about Star Trek. He's a friend of the channel and a channel member. And he sent 3 super chats of $1.99 each. So first of all, he says, M5 computers, I don't know about that, R2. And yeah, I mean, I don't, I'll let R2 answer that. But I just want to say that I actually was looking at Apple's site and I wanted an M5. And because I'm like sort of stingy, you know what I was thinking initially? I'm like, well, what if I got that, what's the small one, the square one? Is it Mini, Mac Mini?
Yeah, the Mini. Yeah, but they haven't updated those to the 5s yet. They're still
maybe
on
it
the
was
4s.
4. In any case, I was looking at it and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll get a Mini. So okay, now I know what happened.
And you can't buy them now. You actually can't buy the Minis. They're like completely sold out.
Oh shit. Sorry, Sean. No, what happened was when I looked, they still had a few. So basically, I looked online, and initially, I guess I wanted an M5, but then I clicked on it, and they only had M4. But I said, you know what? It says $499 or whatever it said there, 500 and something. I said maybe I'll get it, and I'll hook it up to like a monitor and whatever it is, and everything will be fine. But then I click on it, and they're like, don't you want more than like 8 gigs RAM? Don't you want more than like 3 like megabytes of hard drive? And I'm like, yes, of course I want more than that. So you click on like 16 and you click on like, you know, you want a terabyte or whatever it is. And by the time you're done, I scroll down, that $500 is now like 800 or 900. Like it just jumped. It's so shitty. Like what? They charge so much money for these upgrades. So by the time that happened, I'm like, well, if I'm already going to do that, why don't I get a laptop that's an M5? So then I'm like, okay, it's starting from like 1,000, whatever, and I start clicking on it. So I've already jumped. I started with like 500.
But don't you want more RAM? Don't you want more storage?
Exactly. The same thing happened. I'm like, I want more of this. And then they're like, you know, and then of course, like you read that one of them only has like 1 port unless you get the Pro. They keep doing that to you. You're just at the end.
Oh yeah. Well, they always the entry level ones. Yeah, always just have like one port on the laptop. Yeah.
Right. They're like, let's just give you one USB, like, you know, outlet or whatever you want to call it.
USB-C. Yeah.
Yeah. You want USB-C and that's it. Is that fine for you? Or you could get the Pro. Do you want Pro? Oh, do you want it? Don't you want 16 gigs? I'm like, man, fuck you. Like by the time I'm done, it already is like $2,000.
Oh,
like,
I will say that there is no question that yes, there are definite benefits to Apple computers. They are designed incredibly well. Not only are they attractive, they're incredibly reliable machines compared to any Windows Intel thing I've ever owned. even ones that I've built myself. They're incredibly well designed. Like I said, very, very durable, long lasting computers, and their support is outstanding. Everyone's had different experiences. I can tell you that's been my experience. So I've had Apple computers for decades, used them for a very long time, very happy with them. But there is one thing that you are always going to have to deal with, and that is they always have a very attractively priced entry level computer. But if you're going to make any additions to it, I had like a little more RAM. You know what? Maybe a little bigger hard drive, it'll SSD in it. You're always going to pay out the ass for that stuff. It's just they've always done that. And you know what? The truth is, it's not that much better if you were jumping over to one of the major builders like a Dell or something like that. They're very, very similar pricing wise, but they just tend to start lower than Apple does. But yeah, it's. Like I said, not even going to talk about how much I ended up spending on a laptop, and man, woo, pricey. Just glad I've been saving up for a while. That first, when he said M5 computer, I don't know about the R2. That is a Star Trek joke that he's making there.
Okay.
He's specifically referencing an episode of the original series from the second season. There's an episode called The Ultimate Computer, in which we meet a scientist, Dr. Richard Daystrom, who he gets named, he gets name dropped for decades after this, including in TNG. We find out there's this scientific research facility called the Daystrom Institute, right? Where all the smartest scientists are. But in this episode, he comes to the Enterprise where he's going to try and install his brand new Multitronic computer unit, the M5. And it ends up that the M5, in order to get it to perform the way that he wanted it to, he had to imprint some of his own memories and stuff onto it, and so then it started acting up. So it's actually kind of a good story when it comes to thinking about like issues we've had with AI and stuff today. Like the computer starts to do things it's not supposed to do, goes beyond what it's been instructed to do, and breaks out of the safeguards that are put in place and whatnot for it. And humans end up dying, and it's all all a very bad situation. So yeah, that the M5, the ultimate computer. So yeah, there is a lovely little Star Trek joke in there with having
I didn't
an
remember
M5
that at all, but I'm
processor.
not knowledgeable like you. Then 199 sheep go to heaven and goats go to hell. I don't know, but that anything is possible, I guess. And then the dead man says, maybe 70s rock fan would love this movie. I haven't seen 70s rock fan in a while. I don't know what happened. Well, I think I know what happened. We sometimes used to hang out on Midnight's Edge after dark. And, there have been some certain things that happened over there, not through anything that they can control, but I don't want to get into that now. In any case, maybe at some point I'll run into him again. I did see Tom recently. We did kind of a top secret stream about Michael Jackson for whoever caught it. That was very interesting. So yeah, today it's hard to find that stream because it was top secret. But in any case, that was a really nice thing that we did that day, and it was a really nice conversation with Tom about that movie. Both Tom and I think, enjoyed that movie and had a lot of similar opinions about it. In any case, the Dead Man has his own Star Trek channel, and you should check it out and check out what he does. And he's a friend of the channel. And thank you so much for the super chats. And I want to tell you something, Professor. I know, like I said, I'm not a petty guy, and I like to be a positive guy. But something happened to me this week that kind of annoyed me. Are you with me, Professor?
I think May the 4th really bothered us all. Is it? Oh, it was probably something else besides that.
It is actually. It's you're never gonna guess it. If I give you like 100 guesses, you won't guess what this is. Let me see if I can find it, because I tried to. Let's see for a second. I had tried to do like a thing to save the video,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That then you can. I don't know how to explain this to you, but how do I find playlists? Okay, playlists. I don't know if this is it. Playlists. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
So let me see for a second. I'm gonna find this. It was something annoying that annoyed me, and tell a joke, Professor, as I find this thing. Of course, now I want to watch it, and I can't find it.
Yeah, the joke. Well, we'll get plenty of time to talk Star Wars here in a bit. But my God, all of the stuff yesterday, the attempts to try and boost Star Wars on, May the 4th. Oh man, whoa. Some stuff yesterday just so cringeworthy. So many people just these shills that have been bought and paid for coming out and talking about Star Wars, the extra trailers and the little sneak peeks of Mando and Grogu they keep putting out that just are so it's just so bad. Every little clip they put out makes me less and less interested. Just makes it look worse and worse. Yeah, we'll definitely get to dive into and talk about that some more later.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. How sometimes you accidentally click
hey,
like on
what's
YouTube Shorts,
The song "What's Up."
Yes. Oh yeah.
and then you regret ever clicking on
You
it.
regret, yeah, absolutely. Within moments, you regret having clicked on that short. Yeah, because they're all
Exactly.
just rage bait.
So I clicked on this video, and it was a video about Linda Perry. You know who Linda Perry is?
Actually, I don't.
Okay, there was a band in the 90s called Four Non Blondes, and they had
Okay,
that
yeah.
song, Hey Yay Yay. You remember Hey
Mhm.
Yay Yay?
Yes, I remember that. And
That
Four
was their
Non-Blondes.
big
Yeah.
moment. They had
Okay.
Hey Yay Yay, a song which, like, I heard it the day that it came out. I heard it on MTV or whatever it was, and I said to myself, "This is one of the worst things I've ever heard. I hope they never play this thing again." And unfortunately, they kept playing that annoying song. It's so awful, Professor. It's such an awful song. First of all, you know, it's like four chords that keep repeating themselves, like four chords that you've seen in 50 other places, and it's just irritating. I don't know. Sometimes you say, well, you can't argue with a song's success, and I guess you can't, but you can't underestimate how people will like something that's completely crappy. And I'm sorry if some people are watching this and they like this Hey 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 song. I'm sorry if you like it. I suffer listening to this song even today if you put it on. So I got this short. The last guy that wanted to see this stupid short. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
The song "What's Up" blows up. Four Non Blondes sell
Can you hear it?
Oh yes. And
7
God, I
million
hate this
albums.
song.
What I did is what sold 7 million records.
Four non-blind.
The producer just didn't hear the song.
And you don't like it.
Hated it. Yeah, it wasn't good. He was just doing what a lot of producers do: overthink, overproduce. The band was on my side, but the label wasn't. We stole a roll of tape from the studio, and our manager cut some kind of deal from the plant in Sausalito. We went in there, and there was an awesome engineer, and I kept asking questions, and he would tell me how to do things.
Now, just so you have some context here, basically, she's trying to explain that initially they had a demo of the song, but then they worked with some producer, and either the producer didn't love their song or he had a different take on it or whatever it is. But she's like, nah, no, this is a great song, and we're going to go with my take. And I know what I'm doing. This is the best. Now, the sad thing is that I feel for that producer, because if I was in a studio, she walked in singing Hey, Yay, Yay, I'd tell her, listen, lady, this isn't like a subway station, like this is like a real studio here.
What's going on?
So
I said,
in
"Can
any
I go?"
case, she insisted that they re-recorded her way or whatever it is. So this is what she's blabbing about here. She's talking about it like she wrote like Bohemian Rhapsody. You know what I mean? She's talking about it like this is Stairway to Heaven. That's what annoyed me. I watched this like, lady, you should be lucky you had that stupid hit. It was complete shit, Professor. I don't want to be petty. I want to be nice to people, but at the same time, I don't want to lie to you.
Go move.
I hate that
drum,
song.
Mike. And he's like, yeah. It's like, are you listening for something? I'm like, I just know it's not what is dialed up right now. Is there a way you can make the snare go lower? It sounds high to my ear. So we do it. We pick the one and we get done. And then David Tickle walks in. I didn't know mastering was the next day. So he shows up all frantic, like,
He's like, what are you guys doing? You're cutting a song?
because we didn't tell him what we were doing. And so with him, we comp the vocal, mix it, and then it makes mastering the next day. That night, when it was done, I even said to my manager, I want production credit. And she's like, well, you can't have that because the deal's already done.
Oh, wow.
All I know is that what I did is what sold 7 million records. What I did is what became an iconic song. Not what David Tickle did. It was what I did.
I mean, she's so full of herself. Like, listen, lady, you basically on a musical level, you won the lottery. It's a shitty gimmick song that should have never even been a song. It is awful. I suffer listening to this song. Now, I guess you're right. I can't argue with her success, but man, sitting around here and gloating as if like she produced, who knows what. This isn't Sergeant Pepper, lady. This is a song that I don't know who thinks that this is a great song. Although I'll be honest, and I want to be completely honest with you, I then saw something and it made me suffer even more. I don't want to be mean because I don't want to. It's not that I'm bitter about other people's success, or maybe I'm a little bitter. Maybe I'm a little bitter. But are you ready? I want to show you something else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, that's a pretty good song, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you look at Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, his video has 2.1 billion views, which that makes sense. That's what I would think Michael Jackson's Billie Jean would have. And now let's look at like 4 Non-Blondes. It's called What's Up, that stupid song. And look, they have 2.1 billion views, and I don't understand how. Who are the 2.1 billion people that watch this? Who are the 8.9 million people that gave this a thumbs up? I do like that 440,000 people gave it a thumbs down, but honestly, not enough. It is not enough. And
no, it is not. It is that I can't stand that song. It's terrible. Absolutely,
it's a terrible
awful.
song. It is terrible. And the thing is that it just it has like the same 4 chords. Also, the way she's talking is like, I did it. It was my vision. It was me.
Yeah.
Like,
you know
lady.
what else she did? She broke up the band during the making of their second album.
Right. She broke up.
It was entirely her.
She went on some like ego trip. She's like, it's me. I did it. Thanks to me. We got this. Like, it's fine. But like I said, it's like the lottery. It is the lottery of releasing a song. Sometimes you have a shitty song like that. There was once a song when I was a kid, and even as a kid, it annoyed me. In England, there was something about a guy. Do you know that this song, Hey, Hey, Matthew, what do you see? Do you know that song?
Oh, no.
Okay. Until this day, it annoys me that such a song exists. I remember hearing it and thinking to myself, this song is shitty. It's so shitty. Why am I looking at it? And it's like today, if I mention it, even people in England, they're like, what is Hey, Hey, Matthew? And I'm telling you, that was a thing. There was a song called Hey, Hey, Matthew. Some guy brought his kid and he was singing about his kid or something. I don't know why this song annoyed me. But at least, even though it was successful, it wasn't successful like 4 Non-Blondes. It kind of got forgotten in the I don't think anybody knows what song I'm talking about. They probably think I'm a tinfoil man now. Does anybody in the chat know the song Hey, Hey, Matthew? If anybody is listening from England, do you know what Hey, Hey, Matthew is? Oh, well, in any case, the other thing is there's other clips of this lady because now, like, after I saw one short, they like gave me another one. So she's like sitting in there, like, again, like, with a complete ego trip. She's like, well, Christina Aguilera, I'm the one that wrote the song. You're beautiful. I did this and I did that and I did this. I'm like, what are you so happy about? What are you so happy? That beautiful song is just some cheesy shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll give Christina Aguilera that she has a decent singing voice. I have never once, sat on Spotify and said, let me do a playlist with like beautiful and hey yay yay. I never did that, Professor. And then she's like, oh, and do you know like Pink's record for there were a few records that I worked with Pink on. It's like I wouldn't be so excited about that. That's probably the type of stuff that you should keep to yourself. You know what I mean? Like Pink is another one of those weird conspiracies. I don't know how Pink exists. Not one song. Every single song that this lady has is shittier than the other one. Sorry, Sean. And this is like the mastermind behind it. Like she is the factory of shitty music. She sits around on podcasts and they're all kissing her ass. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see it. But as I said, I've matured and I'm not bitter. I'm both mature and not bitter, in case you were wondering, Professor. I think people in the chat are like, what is happening? I used to do a paper route as a kid, and that Four Non-Blondes song and other manufactured hits were on notation. It's baked into my brain. It is super annoying.
Oh God, yeah. Mid 90s stuff when I was working food service, and they just always had like top 40 playing in the background. All of that stuff just drilled into my mind forever. I totally understand.
So people are saying here, Carol Fialka. Hey, Matthew.
Yep, that looks like the song.
So, yeah, let me see. Nobody even knows what I'm talking about. Let's see. Carol Fialka.
Hey, Fialka. Yep.
It has 1.3 million. Somebody watched this stupid thing. So are you ready? Are you ready, Professor?
It's already interesting. TV screens and a kid in a Spider-Man outfit. Let's go.
I remember seeing this and I'm like, this is awful. It is awful. Even as a child that was like fancied music, I was from a young age. I don't know if you know this. I played different instruments and things like that. Some people thought that I, may have sort of some kind of talent, although of course it didn't lead much to anywhere, but that's a different story. This is this song. Oh, this doesn't look like...
Sit and watch all these brutal, terrible things happening on your television. Please enjoy watching all the horrible, horrible things in the world. Enjoy.
It's so annoying. It becomes even more annoying. I don't want to... I think at the end there's something that he like talks to. He's like... I think... Wait, let me see if I can find it. There's babbling the whole song, and then at the end, he's babbling at the end. And man, I just, it's a very annoying song. This is what I think. Some people are probably surprised that I even know this stupid song.
I lived a blessed life until today when I had to listen to that song.
Caleb Levine, why Price? Why do you torture us? I'm sorry. Let's try to speak about something more positive, like the future of Star Wars.
Sean Linane wants us to play it backwards at 33% speed. I'm afraid we would all get cursed with some sort of demonic possession or something.
So,
all is dead.
I have to say
Miss him.
I don't think we should play it backwards, but what I wanted to say, because you brought up the whole Star Wars thing, the thing is that, and it's annoyed me more over the years, and I think that I became even more bitter than usual, even though I don't want to be bitter. I'm mature and not bitter. But I couldn't help myself but be a little bit bitter, because I feel like people like you and I, and a lot of people in our, circles, in our more immediate circles, we've been around the block, or we've been around here, if you want to call it this, corner of the internet, for many years, before there was even a corner, when there was just a few people just sitting and talking about like Star Wars and how the Last Jedi was bad and the sequel trilogy and all that. We were here for a very long time talking about such matters. And now, this time when I saw May the 4th, so many people that either I've never heard of them or people that were never like anything, all these kind of, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, but tourists that are now like, oh, weighing in on this and weighing in on that. Like, dude, you've been sitting around with your thumb up your ass for like a decade. Whoever, I'm not trying to point somebody like in particular, but I saw a few and thought to myself, you've been sitting around with your thumb up your ass for a decade. Don't pretend now that you're some kind of warrior for Star Wars. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they wrote things or said things that were wrong. It just annoys me that now, like, some like influencers or whatever, now they have something to say. Like, we've been here like sounding the alarm from day one. It just kind of annoys me. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, yeah.
So
There's a lot of people jumping in now suddenly. Oh, did you who knew that that the Last Jedi was bad?
no, or they're like now they're weighing in and saying like, oh, it was obvious that like it wasn't good or whatever it is.
Yeah. Did you know? I can't believe that. How it's it split the fandom. It's like, yeah, we've been talking about that for a really long time.
Right,
Like,
exactly. I'm trying to find it started with this, but this actually I'm not ripping on them. Geeks and Gamers have been here very early. So, and I know people
Mhm.
from there, and that's how I met a lot of the people involved in that. But it started, I think, some of the conversation was this thing that Geeks and Gamers reported. I think it's Marvin Montanaro is the one that reported on this.
Mhm.
It is Marvin. And yeah, I like Marvin, by the way. Basically, apparently, there's a rumor that Disney Star Wars wants to remove the sequel trilogy from timeline to resume focus on original characters. If true, this would be one of the most dramatic franchise shifts in modern Hollywood history.
Yeah.
The thing is that this has been discussed for many years, and I actually think that Marvin does a really good job. So I'm not, uh, I'm not trying to diminish his work in any way. He says it's a rumor, and my theory personally is that Lucasfilm PR now, especially with Kennedy out of the picture, I feel like before this Mandalorian and Grogu movie is coming out, I almost feel like they're trying to release little information in different clever ways, even rumors, to try to get fans excited again. Now, I don't know if they would really decanonize it or not. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But it wouldn't surprise me if this rumor didn't just start getting spread by somebody even at Lucasfilm somehow to try to create a little bit of interest. Because if you're thinking, oh, they're about to decanonize, maybe I'll go watch this Mandalorian movie. You know what I mean? Maybe this Mandalorian movie will will explain how they're going to decanonize it. You know what I'm saying? I almost feel like they're doing a carrot and the stick, trying to fool people to go watch this movie. So if Marvin is hearing these rumors, I'm not saying that he's not hearing them. I almost think that this is some kind of ploy. Another ploy that I recently saw is that suddenly, well timed, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau supposedly have been talking to Gina Carano. Now, it's just so strange that I know that she mentioned it at some point or said something. It's just kind of strange that this became an item that people are talking about recently as well. And then they're like, wait, is Gina going to be in the movie? Is Gina coming back to the Mandoverse? Is the Mandoverse a thing? Oh, they're decanonizing? Oh, they want to save Star Wars? Oh, Kennedy is gone? But the problem is that this to me is a shitty ploy. It's too little, too late.
Absolutely.
Too little, too fucking late. And the other thing is that and it's the same thing that I feel like with Marvel and their shit, that they're like Doomsday is gonna just go like pretend that all the other stuff didn't happen and it's after Avengers Endgame. What about all these years that you went and you took a dump on everybody, that you tried to get like creators banned from places for saying stuff about your movies that and I always mention it again that on X, I can't with certainty tell you that it was this studio or not. Which studio is the one that made my account shadow banned all the time. But I will tell you this: these type of studios are most likely responsible for what happened to me. And it's not just me. There's a lot of YouTube creators. There's a lot of people that had things to say. And sometimes it would be really kind of like on point criticism of their work. And they would sit around and make sure these voices are silenced, and that there would be all these articles in the press presenting anybody that didn't like either that MCU stuff or all this sequel trilogy. And they would all be, described as these villains and instant phobes, and they peddled all of these narratives. They did everything wrong. They shit on their fan base, in both cases, for years. And what, now they're going to just pretend like, oh, no, it's fine, it never happened? No, it did happen. I've been here for the last 10 years. It fucking did happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just annoying.
Yeah, this whole idea to me, like you said, there's talks at Disney that they might remove the sequel trilogy. They're going to get rid of it, whatever. I think if anything, this is some kind of ploy to try and bring back some of the fans that they have literally thrown away. Fans that they have basically said, Star Wars is not for you anymore. They've just thrown them out. And so they maybe some sort of a ploy try and bring those people back. Here's the thing, right? Here's the problem. They are not going to decanonize this. There's not a chance in hell. Okay. First of all, KK still there. She's not running the show anymore, but she's still involved as an executive producer and stuff. She still has sway. But they're like, oh, Bob Iger's gone, new chief in town. No, he's not gone. Okay, he's still there. He's still part of the executive board. He's still pushing things around. The guy who is there, the Josh D'Amaro that's there, he's a puppet, okay? He is not going to turn his back on Bob Iger and KK and say, let's throw away Star Wars. It's not going to happen, okay? It is not happening. There is only one scenario, Price. Okay. There is only one scenario that involves the sequel trilogy being quote-unquote erased. And that is they throw all of existing Star Wars out and try building Star Wars from the ground up as their own brand new Disney Star Wars continuity. Right? That's the only thing that's going to happen. They're going to remake the original trilogy. They're going to remake everything, and they're going to do it in the Disney Star Wars fashion. That is the only scenario that's going to end up with the sequel trilogy decanonized. All of this stuff. I'm sorry. I like Doomcock. I do. He's a little over the top sometimes, and yes, the rumors and stuff that he peddles sometimes a little crazy, but the reality is that he's said this so many times. There's been so many times that with the hashtag Doomcock was right. It's not,
of course,
happening.
I just want to say that I am the one that invented
yes.
the hashtag Doomcock was right. This is not a ploy. I created hashtag Doomcock was right. Without me, nobody would be saying Doomcock was right. Doomcock was right is something that I created, and the only reason
hashtag Doomcock was right.
the only reason that's a hashtag today because I created it. I want everybody in the stream to know that this is me. Now I don't even know if it's a good hashtag or not, but I created it. It was me, like for good and for bad. I am the creator of hashtag Doomcock was right. I'm not upset. It's fine. I don't need anybody to give me credit. I'm not bitter. I'm very mature. I created it, Professor. Go on.
Yep. No, but just say, he's not wrong. I've confirmed. I went back and looked all the way through the timeline, as far back as the timeline would go, to find the first instance of hashtag Doomcock was right. And sure enough, it's a Price tweet. So he's
me.
Not making it up.
I've asked
he's not
Brock
making it up.
Before.
Yep. So this whole idea, they're gonna do something with with Ahsoka and the world between worlds, and they're gonna go in and they're gonna change things, and it's gonna make the sequel trilogy disappear. I'm sorry. I am calling bullshit. It's not going to happen. Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I do not see a scenario where that would be tolerated by the people who are running Disney, by the people who are in charge of Lucasfilm. They are all sycophants. They are all still puppets of Bob and KK. It's it's nonsense. I'm sorry. There's no new sheriff in town that's going to help, change things. Now, is it possible that we are getting a meeting between, between Filoni and, who's the guy that did the Mandalorian?
Favreau did it, didn't he?
Jon Favreau. I will believe the rumors that have been going around saying that the two of them are going to be getting together soon, talking about the future of the Mandoverse, whatever. I will also believe the rumors that they're saying that that definitely this next upcoming season of Ahsoka is the last season of Ahsoka. They're not going to be making any more, and it's basically the last chance that Filoni has to prove that he can do live action and be successful. I think that's also a possibility, right? That maybe there's talks with Favreau to be like, you're going to be taking over live action Star Wars because no one else here can make anything that anyone will watch. Like, it's just, we did get some other live action Star Wars with Andor, but despite some of it being pretty good, there's a lot of it that wasn't, and it just did not bring in the viewers. It didn't, right? And so, they've got to find something that's going to be both, entertaining and a little more serious, not as goofy and ridiculous as like the third season of Mando, which was just a disaster. And I think if Favreau is in charge and he's allowed to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't have, KK changing stuff on him all the time, and he doesn't have baloney breathing down his throat, trying to tell him down his neck, trying to tell him what to do. Maybe his throat, I don't know. Breathing down his neck, telling him what to do. Then, maybe he's got a better chance. Because, that first season of Mando, it was not amazing Star Wars, but it was good Star Wars. It was enjoyable for what it was. And if they had stuck with the premise through season 2 and him leaving Grogu behind and moving on, going back to being who he was as a bounty hunter and all that, and gone that more Western direction with it, I think that would have gone better. But they just decided, nope, we can't throw out the cash cow. Got to bring back stupid baby Yoda. Got to get him in here so we can sell all the merch. But of course, I saw someone, there was a tweet yesterday. Someone was talking about how, there's just so much love for the character of Grogu out there. It's gonna overshadow all of these haters that don't want to go see the Star Wars movie. And this Mando and Grogu movie is going to be massive because all the people who love, Grogu are going to be out there seeing it. And I replied to this tweet saying, half of the audience doesn't know who Grogu even is. To them, it's Baby Yoda, and it stopped being cool 6 years ago.
Right.
Okay? They don't care about this character. They don't know who Grogu is. There's a bunch of wine moms out there with, Grogu tattoos or whatever, Baby Yoda tattoos on their calves or whatever. Those are the only audience that are going to care to go see this. And then a handful of parents who are going to go see because, look, it's a Star Wars movie. Let's get our kids into the movie, right? That's it. This does not have a huge audience. This does not have this massive number of people who are going to show up for this. And on top of like all of these other issues with having, done so much damage to the fandom and everything, there is no hype for this. At all. None.
I agree with you, and everything you said is 100% true. And then, since I'm kind of self-centered and annoying, I wanted you to see. I wanted you to see that I am the one that created. Do you see it? Do you see it, Professor? There is nobody that said Doomcock was right before me. Now, I don't know if this is something to be proud of or not, but I created it. It was me. I'm like Linda Perry now. You know what I mean? I am the Linda Perry of this stream. I created it.
I did it. It was
wrote
me.
Doomcock was
I
right,
did it all.
and until today, I should be like a copywriter. You know what I mean? Like the guy that like in an advertising agency, you need the slogans and stuff. You know what I mean? That's how sizzling I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. I should have asked, just like I'm Linda Perry, I should have asked for a production credit, but my manager said, "We just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power." In any case, so it was me. Now, if anybody was even thinking who invented the hashtag, because everybody was wondering, everybody in the chat was thinking, was it Price that did it? Then yes, it was me, producer Price, on the scene. And
November 20th, 2019.
Right. So basically, after that Geeks and Gamers thing, I didn't mind the Geeks and Gamers themselves, but some of these guys, I don't know. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to take a dump on other people, okay? I want to support other creators. But I have to ask you, this guy pops in my feed recently. This guy. Do you see this guy?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Now, seemingly he has like good takes on pop culture, whatever. He joined in January 2023. I've been here for years, and he has like 159,000 followers. He's like saying things that are like Captain Obvious shit. I don't want to be mean, I don't want to.
It's engagement bait, man. Yeah, I was engaging with an account the other day, or almost did, and I saw it. I started looking at the stuff that they posted, and I'm like, this is just an engagement bait account. Nothing they say is serious. It's
right. There's always it's always this kind of Captain Obvious stuff that basically it's like this Captain Obvious type of shit. That like whatever it is that we talk about, he just somehow puts into a tweet, and for some reason he's like an account that sort of does well on Twitter, and it annoys me. I still think that my account doesn't, like, some of my tweets don't get seen until this day. I think there's still visibility issues with it, but Bill Holt, or whatever his name is, he sits around and says what we say in a tweet and gets like a gazillion people. Like, I don't want to be mean. It's fine. He said something. I'm trying to see what he said about the sequel trilogy. Tweets like 70 times a day with a bunch of shit all day. Sorry, Sean. and if you guys like his stuff, it's cool. I don't want to, obviously I'm not, I'm not bitter. Let's see for a second. I can't even find his thing. I felt like recently I saw something where he did one of those Captain Obvious, I can't find it, but I thought that recently I saw like a Captain Obvious Star Wars one that he did too. If it's not Star Wars, trust me, there's always something that he jumps on some bandwagon and always appears in my feed, and I'm never happy about it. But whatever. I'm going to be the bigger man here, Professor.
Oh, we got a number of super chats waiting on us again, so we should pull those up.
Okay, let's do that now. Ooh, yes, there is. Maybe I've been a bit bitter this today. You know why? It annoys me that we say all this stuff and then these kind of tourists show up, and sometimes it's even people that are known people in the media or whatever, that back in the day when we said all this stuff, they're like, oh, it's only aren't you guys, how even people on both sides of the political aisle made fun of us for pointing out the Star Wars was a big important pop culture thing, and the fact that they hijacked it with propaganda and an agenda was bad, and everybody was laughing at us. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how some of them would try to discredit us in the press and things like that. And then you had the other kinds that are even on the right or whatever it is, you had people like, oh, this is beneath us to talk about some Space Wizards movie or whatever. Like the weirdos on one hand would say, oh, you're so sad about a Space Wizards movie. And then the other ones would be like, no, we're dealing with real news. We don't have time to deal with that. It's only much later that all of these kind of bandwagon tourists started jumping on the pop culture train and oh no, look at what they did to Star Wars. Look at what they did to the MCU. Look at what they did this. Yeah, they did this years ago. And you were sitting around, all of you, with your thumbs up your asses, and you didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. You didn't even use your platforms to shine a light on it. Only much later, when you can jump on the bandwagon and sort of try to take away, the spotlight from people that have been here for years doing this, then they all like started trying to like jump on that bandwagon. And yeah, I mean, some people are like, well, it's better that they say something now than nobody's saying. Yeah, it's better, I guess, but fuck them. Sorry. Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
Hey, hey, Matthew, what do you see when you... What a shitty song. Sorry, Sean. Hey, yay, yay was also a shitty song. Not going to lie to you, Professor.
Oh, very much.
Try. Oh my God, do I try? There's a sentence in that. That's what she sings. That's what she sounds like, that lady. I can't stand it. In any case, let's see. Where were we, Professor? Hollywood studios are so creatively bankrupt, they have entered the Great Depression of originality. Jason Webster, 9,300 with $5. That is correct. You were right. They are creatively bankrupt.
Oh,
but
totally.
I will say that there have been a few movies this year. Most of them were ones that either the media hated or like they wanted it to fail, but movies that I somewhat enjoyed. Project Hail Mary, I thought was a fun movie to see. I rather enjoyed it. Wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. That's the type of movies I want to see. In addition, everybody hated, all the critics were ripping on that Michael movie and said said the worst thing ever. I went to it. I thought it was a pretty decent biopic for whatever it was trying to do. Biopics always faulty, not flawless, but I did rather enjoy it. Even Super Mario, which I admit that the story was not great. I still had moments that I kind of enjoyed myself in that one. I know that was kind of silly, but I did kind of enjoy it for whatever it was. It wouldn't get flying colors grades for me, but as a sort of escapist sitting there and just kind of chuckling, since I like Mario, didn't hate it. Those are movies that all the critics hated, and they seem to be doing pretty decently this year. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. In any case, and the sheep thing, the Sheep Detective. I am telling you, Sheep Detective has to be one of the top, movies I've seen this year. It is one of the. It has to be one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's not really saying much because there have been really crappy movies, not a lot to work with. But I actually thought that it was an interesting movie, and I want to say something bad about it, but I can't think of something to say bad about it. I'm just kidding. I'm not really trying to say something bad about it. I enjoyed the movie. It was okay. Not perfect. Again, even the sheep. It's not like it's the best thing that ever happened, but I liked it for whatever it was. So that's my answer to Jason Webster with his $5 super chat, which is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Jason Webster, was a friend of the channel. Then the Dead Man, another Brick in the Wall 2 or Sergeant Pepper's. Am I being asked which would I prefer?
Or, I think that's what we're going for.
Okay, so this is difficult for me. Very, very difficult. First of all, I like a lot of stuff that Pink Floyd did, even though I think today, Roger Waters is intolerable. But back in the day, if I disconnect that and just look at the output of their music, there was a lot of good stuff that they did in that era. I've always felt that another brick in the wall, I appreciate it for whatever it is. I like David Gilmour's guitar work there. I think he's a genius. That's the main thing I like about it. But for me, that is actually The Wall is one of the last Pink Floyd CDs that I would put on. If I'm hanging out now with friends and there's a few we're all chilling and whatever it is, I'm not rushing to put in The Wall. The Wall is the thing where everybody would kind of make a face. I don't think anybody's going to be super excited. To hear it. I think that Dark Side of the Moon will get a better reception. Wish You Were Here, even Metal. I know a lot of people that really connect with Metal, and honestly, for a long time, that was in spite of everything, that was probably my top favorite album of Pink Floyd, one of my favorite ever. Really like Metal. I still do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the perfection of a production, hard to not see Dark Side of the Moon as a masterpiece. Wish You Were Here, also great. There's a lot of things to like about Pink Floyd. I honestly think Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 is not my top thing. Sergeant Pepper, I like it. It's a great album. The Beatles are brilliant. You know, it's hard for me to say. I like Sergeant Pepper in the sense that like I like Lennon McCartney and I like the Beatles and I like that it just, it gets you in the mood to listen to the whole album. And I feel like Sergeant Pepper for me is not so much a standalone song. It's not something that I feel like listening in my spare time by itself. It's more like let's put on the album Sergeant Pepper and then you hear that and then it goes into the other songs. So as part of that experience, I like that experience. I like that album. Again, The Wall, it's not that it's terrible. It's just that like there's a lot of stuff that I could clearly just skip over, in The Wall. The Wall at the end, you have like, Hey You, Another Brick in the Wall, Comfortably Numb. The best thing in that whole album is that David Gilmour insisted on putting the song Comfortably Numb, which he basically wrote the music and the chorus for. I'm not taking away Roger Waters did whatever he was supposed to there. He's fine. But I'm saying like the real musical concept of that song is David Gilmour, the solo, the iconic solo. That's the best that album has to offer. And even Another Brick in the Wall that Waters always like pats himself on the back, like he did it and he did this and he did that. What he always fails to mention is that he had a few chords that he was singing that like you can find in 70 other songs. I don't know how I'm getting into this, but the Dead Man, you're getting your full money's worth here. Basically, Roger Waters came up with Another Brick in the Wall. He came up with a song with a few chords and was, singing his thing or whatever. And David Gilmour talked to Bob Ezrin, who was the producer. And, David Gilmour being like the musical backbone of Pink Floyd and the real, like, heart and soul when it comes to like the musical side of it. So he talked to Bob Ezrin, and who was the producer of The Wall, and he told him, listen, you guys, it would really be nice. The label also wants if you could produce something more of a hit, do something that's more happening now, more contemporary. And they didn't really love that. But David Gilmour decided, and I think they were in New York or they went to New York. I don't know what happened. He went, in my opinion, with Nick Mason, the drummer. I'm about 90% sure this is true. They went to Studio 54. They wanted to see what people were listening to. I think it was Studio 54. Could have been another discotheque or whatever, but I think it was Studio 54. They went there, they were listening to the music, and David Gilmour was basically absorbing what he heard was like disco music. He was hearing like Sashik, La Freak, whatever it was that they were playing there. He kind of absorbed it, and he said, okay, this is what people like. Got it. And then he went back and he took like Roger Waters' song and tried to sort of make it emulate a little bit of the ideas he heard in the disco when he went to the club. The funny thing is that David Gilmour is so brilliant that it doesn't just sound like some, dated disco. It's just like he kind of grabbed some elements from it, but he made it his own. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
So he did his thing, and the best thing about it is the guitar solo, and that's totally David Gilmour. If we're talking about like guitar work and guitar solo, absolutely love guitars, David Gilmour's guitar solo here. Then, in addition to that, Bob Ezrin, if I'm not mistaken, the producer, then heard what Gilmour did. He's like, I love this. And Nick Mason understood with the drums what he needed to do. So they said, okay, he said, I'm going to bring children to sing this song, which if I remember correctly, Waters was against. I think Waters was against all of this. And at the end, they unloaded the kids there. They did the sort of upbeat, like kind of like, whatever clubby thing, whatever they thought they were doing. And this signature song that he's always patting himself on the back for would never have even sounded like this song without these other people who really deserve a lot of credit for making it what it is. And with all that being said, I still think The Wall is not the best album. Tough to say though here. The Real Headcase says, I broke an eye watching The Last Jedi. And that's for $1.99. Thank you, The Real Headcase. Thank you, friend of the channel, The Real Headcase. Always happy to see you here. So yeah, I mean, The Last Jedi was a strange process for me. It was like, first of all, the movie at the time, it wasn't like we are today. I was more trusting a little bit, I'm not saying that I trusted every critic about every single movie, but I never understood that like all the critics together would do like a ploy to pretend something is good. I had never seen that like the way they did with The Last Jedi. One could argue they did it with Ghostbusters 2016, but I guess I kind of slept on that. I didn't really, I kind of noticed, but didn't really. Whereas like The Last Jedi, They gave it flying colors. They made it seem like this is the best movie ever. And I went to see this, and I don't think in my life that I had been more excited to see a movie than The Last Jedi. I was so excited to see it. It was the movie that I've been waiting for 2 years to see, and I kept thinking about it. I even watched Force Awakens a number of times just because of that ending, because I want to see what happens with Luke Skywalker. I was like one of those weird shills that they show today that like Disney invites to events and they slobber all over them. I was like that. I completely just wanted to see The Last Jedi. Was the fan goodwill was through the roof. I didn't even complain about Rey or any of that shit. I'm like, this is the best thing. Like, I'm waiting for Luke's coming back. And then I sat and I watched this movie, and man, throughout the movie, when initially he was like a jerk, I said to myself, this is like going to be something clever. It's kind of like when Yoda initially, when he shows up and Yoda's kind of like a douche. Remember that in Empire Strikes Back? So I thought, they're trying to do a callback to that. He's going to act like a douche, but then it'll turn out that he's like this awesome mentor. And I'm sure of it. I'm sure that that's the direction it's going in, because surely they're not going to take Luke Skywalker and make him a bum and a loser and a jerk off. But then that's exactly what they do. And I'm still waiting for that moment. And then at the end, when he disappears, I'm like, did he just fucking die? And like, I was so...
No, like a fart just disappeared like a fart in the wind.
Just disappears like a fart in the wind. And I thought to myself, this isn't what I think it is. I was still delusional. I was still like, maybe they're going to bring him back next movie. There's more to it than this and that, and this and that. I walked out of the movie and I was with another person and I said, you know what? I really didn't like what they did here, because I'm kind of, it's like shell shock. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an obvious thing that you're going to sit and watch this movie and they're going to take a dump on the main icon of the franchise. You can say whatever you want. I had never seen anything like it before. Not like that. There was nothing to compare it to that happened before that moment. And initially I walked out and I had a strange thing, because on the surface, you hear all these great reviews in the media. They're all saying it's the best. I'm really disappointed, and I don't really know what to do with it. I'm thinking, did I not understand this movie? Is there something about this movie that I don't understand? Is there another angle here? Is there something that maybe I didn't get when I watched it? And I even had a situation where a friend of mine, after I saw The Last Jedi, he texted me because I think he knew I was going to see it. And I said, yeah, I saw it. And he wanted to know my thoughts on it. Now, this guy is like a huge Star Wars fan, and I didn't want to ruin it for him, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kind of said, well, it's not the best and it's not the worst. I regret, I feel bad that I even didn't tell him the truth, but I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine this guy is waiting to see it, and maybe everybody likes it and I just don't like it. You know what I mean? So I said something neutral just so that it's like not good and not bad, just so he would go see it. But then he saw it and I told him the truth. And like, we both talked about it and he understood why I didn't like it. And he didn't like it either. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just it was just annoying. That was the only time I lied to somebody, Professor. But I did it. I was trying to be nice. You know what I mean? Like, if I would have said, like, listen, you're going to go see this, is the worst thing you've ever seen. Imagine this is another guy waiting for years to see Luke come back. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do the right thing.
It's man. Yeah, I left the theater just nauseous after having seen that. And I was, like you said, you're a little bit naive, right? Because, we had seen, we had gotten, we had gotten Force Awakens in 2015, and I didn't love it. I was one, my friend was like, it's the best thing. It's amazing. I'm like, it's a remake of the first Star Wars film. Like, look at all of these parallels. Look at all of these places where it's basically the same story. It's just a remake of Star. No, no. They put their own spin on it. They did their own thing. I'm like, sure, right, okay. I did not loathe it. There were definitely parts of it I didn't like. Didn't like what they did with the character of Han Solo and having him basically go back to being a smuggler, throwing away all the growth that he had in the original trilogy of films, And instead of being, this, general and this leader, whatever, now he's just devolved back into this selfish, smuggler who, has no responsibilities and is no longer married to his wife and whatever. Like I hated that. I thought that was terrible. And then of course, his death was just stupid. But then, I did not hate the film. I was like, okay, sure. It's something to start with. Let's see what they do from here. And then remember that between there and Last Jedi, we got Rogue One, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that film. Again, not the best Star Wars film ever made. Lots of issues here and there with it, overall, but I enjoyed the film. I did. And I enjoyed going and seeing it with, going and seeing it with the wife and, watching it with my son. Like, we had a good time. So when Last Jedi came around, it was like, well, I'm going to go see it first before my son. He was still pretty young. And so I didn't, if there was anything too violent or anything, and I wasn't that worried about it, but, maybe it wouldn't be too terrible. But I decided, I'll go see it first. So I went to go see it. And yeah, I left the theater just dumbstruck. I was nauseous. I was numb. I'm like, I can't even take in what I just saw. Like I could hardly process what I had just watched. There were so many things in it that were just massively stupid. And yeah, specifically what they did to Luke, what they did to the character of Luke. Luke was that hero from the original films. He went from this inexperienced youth who, idealistic and had, all these things that he wanted and really, not really having an understanding of the world, and then growing into being a Jedi Knight. And not just that, but growing to the point that, he faced down the dark side. He faced down those temptations, and he faced down his father, literally put his life on the line on the belief that his father could be saved. Like it's the ultimate sacrifice, right? Like putting your life on the line for, for somebody else. And in the end, he wins that. He gets that victory because he was now mature. He had grown up, and he was willing to make that sacrifice on that belief that yes, his father could be redeemed. And it's a great story. It's a great arc that he goes through and growing. And then we get Last Jedi, where he's completely dismissed, just throws the lightsaber away. He's this grumpy asshole. I'll show you what the Force is. The Force is stupid. Here's what the Force is. You want to learn the Force? Shut the hell up. Go away. Right? He's now this nasty character who has, we're sort of led. They're in the first film in The Force Awakens, we're sort of led to believe like he has gone off on a mission, right? That Luke has not left us because there's something happening. He is off looking for this ancient Jedi knowledge. He's doing something to try to help win this fight against this empire, which it shouldn't have been there anyway, but whatever. He's trying to help, find something, do something to help win this fight, to help overcome the dark side, whatever. But no, what we find out is that that's not the case. He didn't actually go off to learn anything or gain knowledge, to train, to build up a new build up a new Jedi order in secret, anything like that. Nope. What do we find out? He ran off because he is a complete loser, and learned in everything that we learned and everything that he faced down in the original films. All of that knowledge, all of that growth is gone. even though he faced down the Emperor and Vader himself, now he's afraid of a little teenager who has a little flirt with the dark side. And he's going to go slaughter his own blood, because he's a little afraid of somebody being tainted by the dark side. And then he's going to be so embarrassed by this, he's just going to go hide on a planet. He's going to abandon the galaxy. He's going to abandon his family. He's going to abandon his friends. And he's going to go have a pity party by himself and be a hermit on a planet. Just an absolute FU to every fan of the original trilogy, every fan of Luke Skywalker, an FU to George Lucas, an FU to everyone who loved those original films. And I couldn't believe that that's what they had done with this character. I thought maybe I had missed something. Maybe I had misunderstood something. I did go back. We went, my son wanted to see it. I said, okay, we'll go see it. I took him to see it. And the whole time I was just watching and thinking, I didn't miss a thing. This is exactly what they did. They really blew it. They really just destroyed Star Wars.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Hey, Ista.
Hey, Ista, what's going on?
Yeah, I did want
to see as well. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Mark.
Hello, thank you for the
Mark.
invite. Great to see you guys.
Listen, I wanted to correct one thing. I agree with everything that you said, but Han Solo was not a smuggler. This shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the character by J.J. Abrams. He called him a scammer, which means he didn't even understand the character when he was interviewing. And, they had scenes with Luke in The Force Awakens, but every time he was on screen, they said he basically took over the movie, which shows you your lead is weak. So instead of making her better, they just got rid of him. Now, I had an interesting thing. I loved the first 20 minutes of The Force Awakens. The introduction of Rey was awesome. I thought she was charming and funny, except at the very beginning, man, when Kylo Ren freezes the blaster bolt in midair, I almost got up and left the fucking movie right there. But I got over it, and the introduction of Rey was perfect, beautiful, just charming. But the moment Finn landed on the planet, man, I was out and I left the movie so pissed off. Now, I had a similar thing with Phantom Menace in the 90s. We saw that movie 5 or 6 times because we figured we must be missing something.
Exactly. Yes. Same experience. Yeah.
The Phantom Menace
and my friends.
The Phantom Menace is a masterpiece compared to the last.
It is.
I would watch that movie any day of the week over The Last Jedi. The Phantom Menace at least has moments in it that I like. It just feels like it's not put together in the best possible way. Makes some mistakes and it's frustrating, but it's frustrating because you see the potential and you see how it was squandered and how it could have been better than what it was.
Close.
But at the same time, still not a disgrace like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but we never needed to see Darth Vader as a kid. And they actually had a psychologist gave a name to the phenomenon. They called it Phantom Menace syndrome, where people kept going back and seeing the movie because they were just sure they must have missed something. But definitely all 3 of those much better. But, they lacked the human touch that other people around Lucas were able to put in his movies because Mr. Faster, More Intense doesn't really have a lot of that. But I'll tell you, when they said, we are the resistance, I'm like, resisting what? You guys are in fucking charge.
It was dumb. That was so dumb.
And then I realized, they just needed a 1-for-1 group for all of the
rebellion.
Things. So it's like that. And then you got the little mentor. You got half Obi-Wan, half Yoda with the little nearsighted gnome chick thing there. But I'll tell you what, I didn't even go see The Last Jedi right away. I didn't go until I think I was with somebody who wanted to see it, but it was barely still in the theaters. And, when it opened up with those fucking ridiculous bombers, and then a your mama joke, and then I said, I'm sorry, I had enough. And and I walked out and went home. I eventually saw the whole thing on streaming, but it was a fucking joke. I didn't but I'll tell you what, I still think The Force Awakens is the worst of it, because that teed up all of the crap that we got later on.
Yeah.
Six says, I saw The Phantom Menace over 40 times at the theater because it's an amazing movie. That's fair enough. I don't have any issue if people like it. There's things that I really like. I will still say that the lightsaber duel at the end with Maul,
so good.
Yeah,
that is some of the best you'll see in this franchise. Maybe just for that alone, the movie has some value that you get to see maybe the most impressively, in my opinion, still the most impressively choreographed one at an age where these actors actually had to really train, and they took that super seriously. The way that scene is executed, I absolutely love it. I loved it then. I love it today. Is everything great about this movie? I don't know why they're on that planet and why he's doing the pod racing. I just felt like a lot of it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But
so here's how my brain works. You know how they snuck in with the droids to land on the planet?
Sure.
Yeah.
They all landed in the same place, and then the Jedi, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, go find the dudes, and meanwhile the droids march on the city, and somehow now they have to go through the planet's core to the other side of the fucking planet when they were just in the same place. So my brain just says, this isn't fucking working like that. And, hey, Six, always great to see you. If you like the movie, man, that's awesome. I even have an edit of Phantom Menace on my computer where the Natalie Portman stuff is cut out, so it's just the Duel of the Fates all the way through without the little pod racing version 2, and Natalie Portman all with her little T fingers sticking out holding her blaster, like running daintily through the so it's really great to be able to watch the duel uninterrupted.
Yeah, I will say another thing that is excellent about Phantom Menace in particular, but the prequels, is we still do have an incredible score.
Yeah.
Right. You still got John Williams delivering an incredible score. Duel of the Fates being one of the highlights of what we got in the prequel trilogy, but he's still, all three films, a great score. And, I feel really bad for everyone that gave so much crap to Jake Lloyd for his performance in that. That was not his fault. He was being directed by a director who had no business directing a child whatsoever. He could barely direct adults. He had no business directing a child in that film, and his performances show it. They really do.
I would even argue that Hayden Christensen, I'm not suggesting that he's like Marlon Brando, but I will say that he also suffered at the end at the hand of Lucas in terms of directing, because he was an inexperienced actor coming into this movie with all these green screens. And at the time, not all the movies had green screens. You don't really, it's a certain skill and a certain way to act that most people didn't understand. And it's not like George Lucas probably didn't make this process very easy for a guy who's not been acting in movies for 70 years. And I saw later an independent movie with the same actor, with the Hayden Christensen, and I thought he did fine in the movie. I think that I think that a lot of the cringy scenes of the way he acts there is because you're listening to George Lucas. We know today how he directs actors, and maybe it wasn't as bad as Jake Lloyd because he was older, but he also in a way was put in a Jake Lloyd type of situation, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, listen, he did the Ice Storm. He wasn't experienced, and the experienced actors, Ewan McGregor, and I love the character of Qui-Gon. I wish we didn't lose him so quickly. I just thought he hit the right balance, and Ewan McGregor killed it in all three movies. But they had the kid. We've all seen the behind the scenes, right? It was down to two, Jake Lloyd and that other kid. who he nailed it. They had the kid and everybody was saying, go pick the other kid. But Lucas is like, there's just something about this kid. Just something. I don't know. I have a feeling. And so no shade on Jake. You're right. He had no business directing a kid, but it was the wrong kid. They had fucking Anakin and Luke, and everybody knew it except for George Lucas. You can go look at the behind the scenes for Phantom Menace, and you'll see him. He's spitting like he is, a spitting image of Luke's dad.
I mean, the truth is, the prequels, George Lucas was a victim of his own success because in those early, in the original trilogy, he needed to prove to everybody who George Lucas was and what Star Wars could be. And once he did that, and decades went by, which is bad that he waited so many decades, so many years until he did, even the prequel trilogy. So then he comes back, and at this point, everybody's kissing his ass. Nobody wants to push back. He doesn't have those kind of people around him that used to question anything he does or try to suggest an idea that he may listen to. So he just sat there with his weird shit. And don't get me wrong, I have so much respect for Lucas. The man's a genius. But sometimes, the fact that you're a genius and a visionary doesn't mean that everything you do is great or that you shouldn't listen to the few people around you that may have something to, bring to the table, which is what he somehow used to do, but then stopped doing completely. And that's really the part that's so frustrating about those prequels is that had he had some people that he actually listened to what they had to say, or maybe better people or better Andy listened to them, we would have gotten a really, really nice prequel trilogy. Instead, we got one that's uneven, if I'm being kind.
Yeah, and all they needed to do was talk to anybody from Europe. Are you really telling me, oh my God, what's the... When they went to Tatooine, we don't accept Imperial credits. Are you telling me there's not a single money changer on that whole freaking planet?
Yeah, I know. That was so silly.
And by the way, the Jedi, you guys look really rich. Maybe you could go save my mom from slavery before I start my... just none of it was what a human being would actually fucking do. And it just made me pull my hair out.
Well, but I had to drop out for a minute to carry some luggage upstairs. My wife got home, but I always despise the Force Awakens, as our buddy Klobby called it. But you're right, though. The scene with Rey, the scavenging scene, was actually pretty decent. And my dad at the time, unfortunately, had cancer, wasn't doing well. We loved Star Wars. I'm like, let me go see this. If maybe I can get Dad to the movie, they'll be like, and I knew they'd be like, probably the last time you go to the movie theater. I mean, they killed this, one of our favorites, Han Solo. He loved Indiana Jones. I'm like, I can't take Dad to see this movie now. And I didn't really like the, I didn't like the movie anyway. And it was a total in the movie there with my other buddy. I'm like you said before, I turned to him, I said, haven't we seen this before? He's like, yeah, this is the same movie. I mean, what a hack Abrams was. It was so
Except worse.
Worse, yeah, worse, yeah. Poor imitation.
Yeah.
So I never. And then when you have the chance to have Luke, Leia, and Han together, and you don't do a proper adventure, and then you send it off to the next gen if you want. You have them join part of the adventure or do something, that ties the two together. It was so depressing. And then Last Jedi, I bought tickets for the midnight show, and then I bought tickets for my wife and kids, at 8:00 the next day. And I did the same thing for the Force Awakens. And then when I watched The Last Jedi and you guys were saying how bad it was, I'm like, oh, I got to go watch this movie again tomorrow night at 8. Oh, no. It was just, they've ruined Star Wars. I mean, watch it. Some people are saying the new, new Darth Maul series is decent, but
no, it's not. It's the same show Filoni makes over and over and over again, and it suffers from everything as predetermined outcome. But I'll tell you, the first movie should have been Han, Luke, and Leia, and they should have ended with meeting the new generation. The second movie should have been them passing the torch and going off into the sunset. And the third movie, then we see the new people after we've had two really good movies to say goodbye to our beloved characters. But now we know exactly why that, and that's all on Kathleen Kennedy. She's trying to blame it on Iger and all that other bullshit, but that was all on KK and JJ, who couldn't write anything good enough to compete with the original characters. So instead of making his story better, he had to make them worse.
All he ever does is rip off things that happened
Yeah.
before. He's just
Yeah,
not
of course.
original.
Yeah.
He's just not as good as people thought he was. He is even his claim to fame Lost is basically a bunch of mystery boxes, which
Yep.
the translation of mystery boxes is people jerk you around for years and then you watch a bunch of shit. That's what his stupid strategy is. And he thought he'll bring it to Star Wars and Star Trek and whatever it is. He doesn't have any original ideas. That's what happens when he gets his career through like family connections and connections to Spielberg and all this other shit.
Yeah,
J.J.
regarding
Abrams-
Henry.
What'd you say?
Well, his first movie regarding Henry, and it was
Yeah.
Spielberg gave him a big push for regarding Henry.
Yeah.
Right. I
But
mean,
yeah, but yeah, you're right. He's a family. Yeah, it's a family insider. Yep, and
from a
Lost
young
was
age,
just
feel
such
like
a
he was
hack
already
of a-
meeting. He was already meeting
Yeah.
with executives. Like usually, when you're like 16,
up.
you're like, I dream one day that I'll be sitting with some studio and pitching an idea. He already like 5 minutes later was already being introduced to all like the biggest studio heads, just like waiting if he has an idea to pitch to them and things like that. It's like he had all the advantages. He like people talk about privilege. There has never been anybody more privileged than J.J. Abrams. And at the end of the day, the problem is, see, when you have somebody like that gets handed everything to him from a young age, the problem is he never builds any character. And if you don't have character as a filmmaker and as a storyteller, then you don't have any story to tell. He's been through nothing. Like all he's been through in his life is everybody kissing his ass and letting him talk to studio heads and giving him money and throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at him. So of course his movies are shitty. You know what I mean? Like why would you expect that this man has any storytelling capabilities? He doesn't understand anything. He doesn't have nothing is driving him. You know what I mean? A lot of times you look at these kind of old school people, you know that they went through something in their life and had to build something in order to become Steven Spielberg. You can like all of the stuff, not like it, whatever, but he built himself. He didn't just have somebody hand it to him.
Yeah. And you can tell he understands life. He understands people. Like JJ is the ultimate Hollywood fraud. He was a Nepo baby. He never had to do it's so frustrating because it's easier to ask a question than answer it. And all a mystery box is a really cool question. And you don't necessarily need to answer it for the audience, but the person making the movie, the person asking the question better know damn well the answer because that's inform every part of the story.
Yeah. And that's what's, completely screwed Lost.
Oh yeah.
Was that they kept saying no, we know exactly what's we know what the answer is to this, and we know what this is happening, and
Bullshit.
it's not supernatural, it's not everyone that early on was like, oh, they're in purgatory, right? Oh, it's not purgatory, no, whatever. And then we find out in the end, like I knew by like in season 3. Like I didn't. A lot of people started saying they didn't like it in season 2. I liked season 2 just fine. There were some interesting things in season 2, but when they hit season 3, and I watched that season and I saw what they did there, I said they have no idea where they're going with the story.
Lost is a pyramid scheme of storytelling. It's a pyramid.
No idea what they're doing.
Yeah, because it's entertaining. And it builds up to nothing. And the acting is there's some great actors in it. Evangeline Lilly. There's some great stars. And I watched the first season, and I think I stopped after the second. And once in a while, I watch an episode. But
I'm sorry, she was so hot. She was so hot.
I ended up watching it through the end, but it was like after the third season. Like I realized, like they actually don't know where they're going with this.
They don't know what they're doing.
Maybe they pull something together, but basically all of my expectations were gone at that point, and I was just like, we'll see if they tell some good stories. But I'm not really locked into it anymore.
I owe Lost a debt of gratitude because that show has enabled me to recognize that bullshit anywhere else. So Severance. First half of season 1, I already saw where it's going. like more mystery box bullshit. And now I don't get sucked into that because Lost taught me what to look for. And now I don't have to waste my time. So, yes, I have a little bit of gratitude for that. It trained us well.
I did enjoy the first season of Severance, but as I was watching it, I thought to myself, this show is going to have a really tough time sustaining whatever it is that's going on here, like a lot of other of these type of shows. And there was this kind of feeling of like, no, this time it's going to be different. They actually have a plan. But then I saw season 2, and it's clear they don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing, and it's only going to go downhill from here.
I didn't like Severance. I mean, I thought it was so overhyped. My son was like, and kids were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." And then my brother-in-law, they're like, "This last episode, it's the most phenomenal hour of TV you've ever seen." And I'm watching it. And I'm like, it's not that good, in my opinion. And it took forever to get to where it was going. And the reveal is an interesting reveal, but it just drags out way too much, and it just didn't. Maybe it's not for me, but. I
No,
think
you know
like
what?
you're
I'm going to
saying-
tell you. I'm going to tell you something, Mark. It tested my patience because I also
Yeah.
had a friend tell me, like, "Bro, this is the best show that ever happened." Blah blah blah. So I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch it." And I started watching it. And the first few episodes, I was really struggling for a number of
Yep.
episodes. And I was like, he was like texting me, "Is it the best thing you've ever seen?" I'm like, "No, it's actually really kind of annoying me." But then, he's like, "Give it time, give it time." And I just said, "Listen, everybody, it's a guy I trust, and if a bunch of other people that I trust are saying it's good." I'll really keep an open mind, and I'll give it more time. By the time I reached the final few episodes of the first season, it did kind of come together in an interesting way, like you said, Mark, with an interesting premise, an interesting idea. And I was curious to see where they go with it, but I told myself the second that season ends that they got to start season 2, hit the ground running, really wow me. Or else it's going to be one of those kind of J.J. Abrams falling apart shows, and unfortunately, it feels more like a J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I stopped watching it with it was one of the shows we're watching with my better half, and we haven't gone back to it. I started watching Shrinking, and I'm like, that show grabbed me. That show's a lot of fun, and we haven't gone back to. You're like, oh, we got to go back to watch Severance, like finish it. Like,
And no, you don't.
not tonight, But the one I did like Alias though. I'll give JJ, I guess, some credit. I don't know how much writing did on Alias with Jennifer Garner. That made her the star, but but that was more of a one-off,
Yeah.
agent show. So there was no, it wasn't that whole build-up, to like, Lost, where you're waiting for the big reveal. But I did like Alias, I have to say.
Yeah, but that show, I think it survived on the charisma of Jennifer Garner. If you look at the story, it's actually quite ridiculous and really got silly toward the later seasons. I think it started off with relatively strong writing, but I don't know, man. It just devolved into a lot of her running, magic little tech device. Her dad does something, she gets the device where it needs to be, and boom, they expose the bad guys like every time.
But she looked great doing it.
Yeah, and some show, like, dude, Miami Vice is the ultimate style over substance show, but it works. Like, I'll watch it every single time. Cool music, two of the coolest freaking dudes. The story is a little bit ridiculous, but there's good humor, and it's fun. And that's the thing, man. If you can make the viewer have fun, then you can get away with a lot of things, and you just need to deliver on the proper sense of adventure and give the audience something that makes watching it worthwhile. And when watching a show feels more like work, that you're having to struggle to get through it, you've lost your audience.
I do want to say something very, very important, that for years I really didn't rate Jennifer Garner. People liked her, and I really didn't think much of her. And I thought she was all right, but she wasn't really my cup of tea. I was always kind of not excited about her.
Really?
And once I went to a cocktail party where during the time that I used to get invited to events, which for some reason I don't get invited anymore. But at the time, I still need to know why I don't get invited anymore. But in any case, I was at an event, and Jennifer Garner was there, and she was standing next to me for a second. I didn't say anything to her. She was just standing there, but I could see her in person because she's standing right next to me, like right in front of me. And
Wow.
I have to tell you that if I was sort of unsure about her when I see her on screen. In person, I was actually very impressed with her. She sort of
Oh
has this
yeah.
kind of like tall, she's tall, I think, from what I remember, and she was very well put together and had this kind of like presence. And I'm like, I felt like that Shaquille O'Neal meme that he's like, I
Oh,
wasn't. I wasn't familiar with your game. That's probably. I don't know if the meme existed then, but that's kind of what I was thinking to myself. Even though the meme, I don't even know if it existed. That's what I thought to myself in my mind. But thankfully, I didn't say anything to her. I didn't, I didn't walk up to her and say,
you didn't advise her on her career or give her
Didn't
What are you
agent
doing at
advice?
this party? Why are you here?
I didn't
Yeah,
say
if
anything.
only Bryan Cranston knew you were just looking out for him, man. I wish he would understand that.
Listen. If he would have listened to what I told him, he'd be doing great now. Not that he's doing not great, but he'd be doing even greater. I mean, since Breaking Bad, I don't feel like he's had a fantastic movie. You know what I mean? If he teamed up with the Coen brothers, which is what I told him to do, I think that they probably would have done something great with him. But that's just me. That's my opinion. In any case, Jennifer Garner, I really had nothing to say. I guess, at the end of the day, I guess I'm kind of a sucker for women that look nice. So what am I going to do? Like, I wasn't going to say anything bad. And honestly, I didn't really know what to say. So I think I just said nothing.
You know who Jennifer Garner is? She is who everybody pretended that Julia Roberts was. She is everything that people acted like Julia Roberts was. I mean, they sort of have a similar physical presence, but one of them is, I think. So I used to live at a place. I used to get my morning coffee at the same place Julia Roberts went in to get hers, and I will tell you, I mean, she's not ugly, but there was nothing about her that would make anybody turn their head real quick in Whiplash, and that is not the case with Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner looked really nice. I have nothing to say. She also, she came to this event really she looked like she was, like I said, really well put together. It was, I somehow was impressed. Not that she needed any
star, right?
Not that she was trying to impress me in this whole situation. Putin 3 says Jennifer seems nice, but I always saw her as a fake nice. Just something about her acting. When I saw her, I wasn't really thinking if she's a fake or not fake person. I wasn't, it was more of a shallow analysis of the situation.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, a lot of her decisions seem to be prioritizing her family and her kids, and I gotta respect that. I actually think there's something genuine about her, and I just want to make clear, I wasn't saying Julia Roberts was ugly or anything, and she is tall. She's not like super tall. I think she's around 5'8" or 5'9".
She has her look. I mean, back in the day when she was in Mystic Pizza and Pretty Woman, I kind of liked her. I thought it was, she had a cool look about her.
Yeah, like I'm saying, she's not ugly, but dude, Jennifer Garner is a stunner. And I do get it doesn't always translate on screen, but most of the time, and you've clearly met a lot of celebrities, as have I, and 99% of the time, they are way less impressive in real life than they are on screen.
Absolutely. And she was the opposite. She was usually doesn't impress me, and I was more impressed.
Yes, every now and then.
Are you still there? Are you still here? What happened to the professor?
Maybe he's fixing his mic.
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah. He's just thinking about Jennifer Garner. She was great as an election. You could tell.
I didn't watch it. I've never watched Alias, and I have no opinion on Jennifer Garner. I don't think she's that attractive. I simply don't think she's that attractive. I just don't. I'm sorry.
A confession. I actually like Elektra. I'm not saying it's a good movie, but I had a lot of fun with it. Sorry, but listen, every now and then you meet somebody in person that really just blows you away, and you're like, wow, the screen cannot even really capture their presence. And I think Garner is one of those.
I was actually just like the professor until I saw her in person. Like, if somebody would have asked me prior to me seeing her in person, I don't know if I would have been as grumpy as the professor, but more in the direction of the professor than you as the Phobos. I'd be like, well, she's kind of just there. Don't really have she's not the best, whatever. But when I saw her, she really changed my opinion. It's a rare case. Once in a while that happens when you're like, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and in all fairness, every time I saw her, it was before her morning coffee because she was getting her morning coffee. So, you do have to make allowances for that. What?
She didn't have people for that? Wow.
This was back when, no, she was still, she's from my city. People knew who she were, but I don't think, I see she's still obviously spent some time in Georgia and was around. Like she wasn't full-time LA. She hadn't.
Okay. Yeah. She hadn't hit it big yet, or she'd done Pretty Woman, or
yeah. No, she was big enough. Everybody knew who she was, but it was the 90s, man. You had to be hipster and act like you didn't give a shit, even if you did. But, so people were she was just starting to hit it big, but not so big that she couldn't send her assistant off to care. Or maybe she just liked going to get her own coffee. This was before there was a Starbucks on every corner. This was actually, I guess I won't be outing, it was a place called Caribou Coffee. It was a smaller local chain. It wasn't Starbucks.
Oh, Caribou's a big chain.
They weren't.
It's just not as big as Starbucks.
Yeah, but at the time they weren't exactly huge, and they were. They actually invented. This was before Starbucks served frappuccinos, because Caribou started doing that first. And that's what really transitioned Starbucks from just a coffee place to where everybody goes to get their sugar slurpy frosty whipped cream drink things.
$8 coffee.
Yeah.
I did see Tom Hanks on an elevator once at the Essex Hotel in New York City for the opening of what was the Christmas movie they did? What was the Polar Express?
Yeah.
We were staying there that weekend. It happened to be Tom Hanks. Someone's like, "Oh, Tom Hanks is here. They're doing it." I'm like, "Oh, can I go up and get a poster?" So I just kind of like went to go in the elevator, and the door opened. It was Tom Hanks, and it was there. My wife. I'm like, there kind of was room in there to get in, but we were like, oh my god, it's Tom Hanks, and we just, we'll get the next one. I'm like, well, Zurg could be around too. Maybe I don't want to get on this elevator, and we just went up to the top floor, and. Like, oh, can I grab a couple of posters? And the guys kind of look at me like, what the F are you doing? Who the hell are you? I'm like, oh, I just heard that the premiere was tonight. I just love to get a couple of posters for my kids. And they're really nice posters, the double-sided, movie theater posters. So they shine, the light shines through, when you put it in the box, it shines through. But I was kind of intimidated. Like, I don't know. What do you say? Like, you see someone like that, you're like, what do you say? Right. I didn't say anything. So that kind of worked, but
Noelle has a question. Noelle 2024 on the Rumble side. She says, Price ever meet Kevin Costner, Ashton Kutcher? Is that what it was? Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Bruce Willis. Okay. Kevin Costner never met. Ashton Kutcher never met. Tom Cruise I wish I met, but I hadn't. I do have a friend that's like, in the Hollywood scene to some level, and he told me that once he went to someplace and he met Tom Cruise, he had like the best things to say. I don't know. I know that Tom Cruise is a quirky guy or whatever, but I think that most people that meet him are really kind of, impressed by him, or there's something about his presence that like people really like. I don't really know more to say about that, but that's something that I've heard. Bruce Willis is a strange story. It's almost like I have a strange Mandela effect or something like that. This is the strangest story, and I don't think I've ever told this to anybody. I think sometime in the aughts, when I was in New York City, when I lived there for some time, and I sometimes, and younger, I'd go to clubs and things like that. And sometimes I would even go to like trendy places. One time, I believe like it was one of those nights where you go between bar and clubs and parties and whatever. I probably had a lot to drink. And I went to some kind of place that was like a trendy bar, whatever you want to call it. And I walked up there and I was sitting there probably after 2 minutes, like not a gazillion drinks, but not one either. You know what I'm saying? It's probably at the point where I should go home soon, and probably with friends or whatever I had drinks. I don't know even how I ended up at this place, but it was kind of trendy. And I sat there, and I think that there was like a DJ or something like that. And in the corner of my eye, I suddenly this again, I drank, and to this day, I still think this really happened to me. I saw Bruce Willis walk towards like the DJ booth or whatever it was, like walk there, and I could tell it was Bruce Willis, and I was like really excited because like it's Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
and very quickly, he disappeared. Like it was almost like a blink and you miss it. But he did kind of it very not even like so close to me, like in proximity to me. He just kind of walked and he was gone very soon after. And I always felt like I didn't do enough. Like what I don't know what I could have done. Maybe I could have like run after him, like
Come
hunt
back,
him down and
Bruce.
talk to him about his career or something. I don't really know, but that was it. That
Well, I
was
did
my.
have
Sorry,
your experience. Well, no, sorry. I was just gonna say I did have dinner with Paul Newman once.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's pretty
Not
cool.
really.
That's really
my-
cool.
Yeah, I
Oh.
was in Sally's Pizza, and he was in the back booth. I'm
Oh, wow.
being an a-hole.
Oh.
And then my wife is like, "Look at the guy in the back, the blue eyes shining across the room." She's like, "That kind of looks like Paul Newman." And it was Paul and Joanne Woodward, in New Haven. They lived nearby.
Oh wow!
And no one bothered him or said anything, but like you could see his blue eyes from across from, and almost when I went up to go to the bathroom, kind of hoping like, oh, maybe he's got to get up and go to the bathroom. At the
Oh
same
no! You don't want that. I've got a story.
Well,
No,
yeah,
no, no.
you want it? Why don't you tell it? I know what the story's going to be. Yeah,
But well, I will say I've met Kevin Costner, and he was still pretty. It was right after that movie No Way Out.
Wow,
Okay.
that's a long time ago. No Way Out was a
Yeah.
good movie. It's one of my favorite Kevin Costner movies, actually.
Yeah. So I have to tell you this. I'm not. The man is ridiculously good fucking looking. I'm straight, but game notes game. Man, the first thing I did was like I grabbed my girlfriend and I'm like, we are getting the fuck out of here. Like, no, he is very charming. He was very talkative. We talked about a few things. He's very interesting, and but yeah, again, sometimes you meet people and like, damn, it's like maybe he'll ask me to be his best friend or something. He was very magnetic. He made a movie early on called Fandango, which is one of my favorite movies. It was an early Amblin Entertainment movie, and it was sort of a coming of age. And we just loved that freaking movie, man. It was so much fun. If you get a chance to see it, I think I'll put it on my sort of what do you call the hidden gems list? Anyway, yeah, he just broke out with No Way Out. This is before all the other stuff. He was very personable, really friendly, and unlike so many I've met, he's intelligent. He's like he can keep up a good conversation. You meet so many celebrities, and dude, they don't have the education of a good middle schooler sometimes. It's very
they have less education than Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. So I do have to tell you, dude, if I was a woman, I'd have been all over that dude. Like I'd thrown my ass at him.
yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that insight with us, Sister.
Well, now we know your secret.
No, I honestly believe that Kevin Costner might have been my first man crush.
There we go.
Either him or Tom Selleck. Yeah.
Do you have one of those celebrity lists with your better half, or no? Yeah, like
No, my
who's
better
allowed
half's
and not
mine's been gone a long time,
Oh,
so
sorry.
that's okay. Yeah,
Just,
no, I'm free to play the field, but
Ista, did you meet Kiefer? I've never met Kiefer Donald Sutherland. I like them both, but I've never met either of them.
I've never met Kiefer. I thought he was like super creepy when he was young, but now like he's the old guard of good actors.
Yeah.
I did meet Donald Sutherland way back, but I was pretty young. Like I don't even think like this was around MASH, the movie. So I don't really remember. I was in the same, like saying met him. I was in the same room as him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand. I had a situation, there's these type of people that maybe I met for a second. Like once Sean Penn, I walked on the street and I saw him like, he was standing there, and I don't know what I said. I guess like there was somebody was his assistant of his or somebody, and I'm like, oh, it's like Sean Penn, and even the assistant was snooty. He didn't say anything to me, and the assistant was like you'd think the assistant was Sean Penn. The assistant was like snooty. He's like, like I don't know what he was saying to me. Like, fine, whatever. So, and Mark Ruffalo, by the way, this one I regret. I regret because I saw this happen maybe like 6 years ago, something like that, 5, 6 years ago, that I was in New York City. I believe it was like the High Line where they took that thing that used to be like a train thing and they turned it into like a tourist place that you walk where they used
Very
to
cool.
supposed to be train tracks or some shit, whatever that thing is. So it was only added in more recent years, this kind of like a tourist attraction. So I found myself, I was with a few people that wanted to go to this thing, and I was walking, and it was a nice day, and suddenly, like, Mark Ruffalo was there. I believe he was there with his family, like maybe kids and a wife or something like that. One of the good things about New York is that a lot of people, I don't know how it is now, but at that moment weren't really bothering. So I guess I don't know if to say it's a good thing, but I'm saying like people weren't bothering him. He just kind of was there. But for a second, he passed by me and I looked at him and he looked at me and he kept walking. Today, I don't know if I would say anything, but I would be tempted to tell him that I think he's an idiot. It would at least be like an itch that I really want to scratch, but I didn't, I didn't think anything at the time, so I didn't say anything. Didn't say hi, didn't say anything. He just walked by me with his kids or whatever it is.
Well, how about Kevin Bacon? I got a Kevin Bacon story. Everyone must know Kevin Bacon,
wait.
right? Go ahead. Yep.
Have you seen that clip that's been circulating about Eric Braeden and the James Cameron interview?
No.
Is Eric Braeden the guy from Young and the Restless?
Yes, and the Titanic and the incredible movie called Colossus: The Foreman Project.
Yeah. Okay.
So
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, Spielberg was involved with that, and they always liked him, and Cameron liked him, and he wanted him to be on the Titanic. And Braden's like, no. I'll try to say this real quick because you mentioned like how snooty and the people that work for were snooty. So they end up convincing him to audition, and he flies all the way to LA, and he's like, the woman at the desk, he's like, she was so rude, she was late, blah blah blah, and he's like, I walked out of the audition. I didn't think twice about it. He drove back to LA. Said 2 weeks later, gets a call from Cameron begging him to come in, and the guy says, no man, I've had it. You don't treat people like that, even new actors. And he had a fair amount of cachet because of that movie, and he had a decent solid career, and I guess Cameron really wanted him for that role in Titanic. I forget, he played the German, the rich baron that owned most of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And so he finally convinced him, and he met with Cameron, and he's like, man, you got to have people. The people who work for you are even more arrogant and more of an asshole than you were. I think he called her an arrogant bitch. Wow. And he's like, you can't treat people that way. And then he ended up having nothing but good things to say about Cameron. He's like, he's one of the few people I will unqualified call like a genius, and everything else. But, he walked out of the initial interview. He said that with the casting director, it wasn't he's like, the casting directors have bigger egos than the people who actually make the movies. And he said, how many movies have been ruined because of a shitty casting director? So anyway, that clip's sort of been in focus. He's like 85 now. He did an interview. And when you said that about, when you said about his assistant, I just thought, that really fits, that some of the people that aren't really important around important people act even worse than they do.
Well, yeah,
that makes sense. I've seen that before for sure. I've run into a lot of that, and not only with actors, because I don't know if some people know, I also used to do stuff that had to do with musicians and celebrities and musicians, the different things like that. So I ran into a situation where I did work a lot of times with representatives of like artist talent, sometimes even like very known ones, and I mean, a lot of times what would happen is, and interesting what you said is, you'd be dealing with some like kind of manager who's the biggest pain in the ass and is just driving you crazy and like just annoying, and then suddenly you meet the artist and you're like face to face and you start talking to him and you realize that the artist is actually a decent person. It's just that all the people around him are such douches that, probably it harms that person in some way and they don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're self-important. Like I knew someone who is in the industry, and I was asking about Brie Larson, and how she was, like, is that all this? Have you ever met Brie? Or I'll keep the names out of it, but obviously, but
you just said,
well, not the person I know, and
okay.
But basically, she said, well, because you hear these things. I'm like, she's like, I can always tell how someone is by how they treat the people that work for them. And she's like, she was terrible to the people that worked for her, because Brie had that all the bad publicity and some bad interviews and things like that, and that's true too, because maybe you get up, most actors start at the bottom, but I guess it can, like anyone else in any industry, if you get up, you become wealthy, it can go to your head and you can become a real a-hole, and other people it doesn't affect into the same the same person, and you'd never know it. So but you're right though, how you treat other people and how those people around you just don't want to deal with them. But then sometimes, I guess, if they're a star, right, quote unquote, then you've got to put up with the crap to a certain extent. But that's interesting. Braden, he wasn't going to put up with Cameron's casting director. I don't care. I can't, which is great to have someone, at that, well, he's at a certain point in his career too where he can do that. But, to stand up for yourself and say, hey, I'm not going to take this line down. So that's an really interesting story to know.
All right, don't forget the Kevin Bacon story.
Yeah. One of my friends went to school with Kevin Bacon and knew him relatively well, and they were trying to get him to do like a charity thing. And my last name is, my first name is Mark with a C, and her husband is also, he spells his name correctly, Mark with a C. So one day I got this whole email chain between her and Kevin Bacon. And it happened before where I got emails for the wrong Mark, and so I have Kevin Bacon's email address, but and I'm like, oh, can I write Kevin Bacon? I'm like, no, I can't do that. But it was funny, and I think she's got a block that way. My friend really, like, she took my name out of the address book or she catches herself. I haven't gotten an email. I'm like, I won't say her first name, but I'm like, I've got, and a couple of the emails I'm just like delete, but I saw that one was Kevin Bacon, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna skim this one.
I just got a little scoop in my Twitter, alleged scoop. Did you guys see the pictures of Rachel Zegler at the Met Gala?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that clown show.
Yeah. So apparently, allegedly, she was doing that thing where their jaw. She was doing the
on purpose,
like the meme. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had
apparently, no. Apparently, she might have a little cocaine problem, and it's called gurning, or they call it coke.
That's what it is.
Never heard of that.
Allegedly, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Allegedly,
somebody just.
And you meant powdery stuff, like remember?
No, she really likes soda and Coca-Cola. Yes,
powdered sugar. I love powdered sugar.
Diet Coke, Cherry Coke, Coke Zero, plenty of Cokes. Just there, take that AI. So I'm just, yeah, it was just a DM. I don't know, I'm just saying, boy, that would certainly explain some things, wouldn't it? And I've had a little bit of experience with that myself, by a little bit, let's just say Steven Tyler levels of that. So
I never knew that. I never knew that having too much powdered sugar could do that to you. I thought it only made you gain weight.
Yeah, it's
all kinds of bad for you.
Yeah. Well, I typically I try not, I don't like making fun of someone's appearance, but the way that people dress at this Met Gala,
they're clowns. Like I said,
it's clowns.
It's a clown show.
Clowns. It's a clown show with
it was worse.
The dollar bill.
And my God, did you see Blake Lively? She wasn't even invited. She paid $100,000 to get a ticket, and she shows up in this giant ball gown that takes 10 guys to carry it and fills up a whole room. It's like the most inconsiderate thing you can wear at like a crowded gathering.
Oh yeah,
that woman is a viper.
It is a clown show where people pay money to show up to be more outrageous than the next person at this absurd, ridiculous clown show. It's insane.
How did this get
Isn't
so
that
big?
just Hollywood all the time?
This is just a microcosm of it's completely blown out of proportion.
Zoolander movie, like it's
Yeah, I
like
know.
Zoolander in real life.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing that you get kind of dressed up, kind of crazy, and you have fun, but it's just so freaking over the top now with these outfits and how pretentious these stars are too. So,
Oh yeah.
what was it, Paul with the dollar bill? And she's worth $12 million, and she's fighting oppression, fighting the oligarchy at the Met Gala. It's when are you going to give all your money away then? If you're so against, you're that much against rich people, why don't you donate your money? Or people complain about income taxes, why don't you there's a form in the government you can actually pay more taxes if you want to.
No, it's people richer than them, the other rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all so millionaires will complain about billionaires, and as they close in on becoming a billionaire, I guess they have to complain about multi-billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
The peons, only the multimillionaires, right? Yeah.
London Pharaoh says Rachel Zegler is AOC as an actress. It's kind of true.
Oh, see, I thought AOC was an actress that got cast to Congress.
That's true also.
Yeah. Yeah, and Blake Lively was the mistress when Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson. She was the homewrecker. Like everybody, oh, she's so she's just like us. She's
Was
such
she the mistress? I didn't even know.
Yeah. She's the homewrecker.
Are you sure you know what you're talking about? Because I never.
No, I'm sure about this one. This is standard tabloid fodder.
Wait, now I have to research this. It was Big Lively.
I didn't know that either.
Ryan
Yep.
Reynolds.
No, she had a reputation. Let's just put it that way. If you had a role to give an actress, you were going to get lucky in the bathroom of your choice, allegedly. But yeah, I think it was when they were doing Green Lantern. He was married to ScarJo. God, I can't believe doing that downgrade. Wow.
Wait, rumors that they had an affair while filming Green Lantern have circulated as Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson and Blake Lively was dating Penn Badgley at the time. But they have now been married for over a decade, as discussed on this blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long. She's still a homewrecker. It's just she was a homewrecker a long time ago. I don't see how that matters.
I've never been a huge fan of hers. I mean, honestly, she was on that show Gossip Girl, which I never liked. I did have a girlfriend back in the day that watched weird shows like that, and I found myself at times having to put up with nonsense like this from time to time. So I saw a few episodes of that Gossip Girl thing. Really didn't think much of her. She's not my cup of tea, Blake Lively. I'm not saying it now because all of this like weird scandals with her or whatever. It's not my thing. I didn't know why Leonardo DiCaprio dated her. I don't know why Ryan Reynolds dated her. There's nothing about her that I look and I think, wow, for me. Now, maybe some people will like it. She's not like horrendous or anything. I'm just saying that like, how sometimes I say like this movie is overrated. That's kind of how I feel about Blake Lively.
Yeah. She's a CW actress at best, but she thinks she's a diva, and then on top of that, she's a bully and a scheming mean girl.
You know why? Allegedly. You know why? And allegedly, but you know why allegedly she's like this is because she's not such a great actress, in my opinion, because she's just kind of like, I don't know how she even got to where she got. Then she kind of overcompensate with all this other weird over the top, like I'm this diva. And the whole thing is that even the whole like, and this is just my opinion, allegedly, and just my opinion. I'm not saying that it's like this, but I'm saying
Allegedly.
the whole situation with Justin Baldoni and all that. I think that one of the biggest problems was she always walks around like she's an A-lister, but the truth is Ryan Reynolds could argue that he's maybe an A-lister if you want to
Yeah.
see him that way. He's been in some big movies. He's an actor people know, but she's only like on the higher status because she's with him. If she wasn't
yeah.
with him, she would not be in that conversation. So I don't. So when she goes to different places and expects people to give her like the Ryan Reynolds treatment, even on set, like on a movie and things like that, I think it's ridiculous. That's probably part of the problem that happened with that Justin Baldoni guy on the set, is that I think that she thinks she's like a bigger star than she is.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I'm not sure who's rubbing off on whom in that marriage either. I think it's quite like, Ryan has this cool guy, funny guy, good guy image, but everybody that works for him has a different story about that. So
Yeah, Trouble in River City.
yeah, yeah, and some of the things Blake was claiming that she did during the movie was actually Ryan Reynolds doing the edits and doing the rewrites and all that stuff. But I mean, neither of them should have done that. That's against, the Directors Guild rules, the Producer Writers Guild rules.
Also, what a strange hill to die on. Some shitty movie where people talk about their feelings with some jerk off. That's where they want to put their careers on the line. This stupid fucking, it ends with us, it starts with us. Who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? This is it. This is where you put everything on the line with that shitty male feminist movie thing. That's where you put it.
Yeah.
And that movie was successful, right?
Yeah. It made like $350 million on a $25 million budget. And,
yeah, like a date-night movie. So if they'd shut up, they would have, just take
Right.
your money and run.
Right. I mean, basically, there's two movies. I guess there's part 1 and part 2. All they had to do was shut their mouth, both of them, Baldoni and her, and Ryan Reynolds, and they would have all been like, laughing all the way to the bank, and all like, could just like have a huge win in their column for like box office. Ironically, this could have been her finest moment, and everybody could have looked good here, even though it's a movie that I would never want to watch myself. I don't know who would want to watch it, but maybe there's an audience for it, so it's not nice, or maybe it's for ladies or whatever, ladies that like men that are, abusive. I don't really know. Yeah. Not my business. Bottom line is that all they had to do was shut the fuck up, and that would have been fine. You know what I mean? This is like behavior idiots, all three of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but she was the one. See, I don't think she can help herself. It's because she has to think that she's bigger than she is. She had to take control over the movie. Baldoni wasn't saying anything until she started throwing some pretty serious accusations his way.
I will say this. I'm more in his corner a little bit, but I'll say this. I also think he's a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This guy is not my cup of tea. Prior to this movie, he had a podcast saying, talking about how he doesn't like toxic males and shit like that. I have very little respect for this dude, okay? It's just the only thing I'll say is that even though he's a weird male feminist, which I never bought, and he seems like a complete weirdo, the only thing I'll say is that somehow, with how, in my opinion, bitchy and difficult Blake Lively was, I have a little bit of empathy towards him. Really, just a little bit. It's like it feels awkward and strange for me that I even have a little bit of empathy for him, and I feel guilty that I have empathy for him, but I have just a little bit. But that's it.
Yeah, well, he made his bed because of this, faux soy boy bullshit. He gave in to her, and the more he gave in, the more she kept trying to take. If he had put his foot down and been a man from the beginning, none of this shit would have happened. I'm totally with you. And honestly, let her hijack his movie, let her hijack his career. But when you start making false accusations of that nature against somebody, I've just got to be in the corner of the falsely accused, because
what was the argument about?
Going rampant.
They're saying they abused each other, or allegedly?
There were all sorts of accusations that. Baldoni was saying that she was trying to sabotage the movie and that she was doing stuff, to undercut him on the set and politically and all sorts of stuff. And then she was saying that he was like coming into her dressing room or coming into her trailer and like crying and like begging her for attention and all sorts of weird stuff. Like it's very just bizarre behavior from both of them, quite frankly.
Really weird.
Yeah, I've seen the dailies, man. She wanted to have sex with him, and he didn't want to. He was faithful to his wife, and that's how this all got started. It was a woman scorned. I do have to say, like I said, I don't like the guy either. He definitely is a
who wanted to
weirdo.
have sex with who? Allegedly. And please, here at Price of Reason Studios, we take no responsibility for anything the bear with the cigar says. This is all weird shit that I don't know who said it, and it's all allegedly.
On the show here
No. Blake Lively on set and behind the scenes was throwing herself at Justin Baldoni, and he wasn't biting. And that drove her crazy.
How do we know, though? I wasn't there. I don't know this.
Well, we've seen the dailies. There's some cuts. It was all part of the evidence entered in deposition. She went up and grabbed his crotch. She was like totally kissing him when it wasn't in the scene. And I don't know. I don't think she's a good enough actress. I could be wrong, but that was some of the testimony of the people around.
What happened to this court case? Did it get thrown out, or
no? They settled
they
like
settled
a day ago.
yesterday. Yeah.
Wait, what was the settlement? And we didn't even talk about it. What was the settlement?
They haven't disclosed what the settlement was.
It's basically. Well, I just heard his lawyer was just on Megyn Kelly. The paperwork hasn't been finalized, but essentially, she's dropping the remaining 3 claims of hers. And no money is changing hands. So she basically she spent $200 million on lawyers and got nothing except ruined her reputation and her career. So,
is she paying for his lawyer fees? Because a lot of times in these settlements, you pay for the other side's lawyer.
Yeah, no. But she's the one who brought the suit. He is not paying for hers.
No. Is she paying for his legal fees?
No. No, I think they decided
lawyers are so damn expensive. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how much money he's got relative to Lively. And,
he's got a billionaire business partner, Jamie Heath, who owns the studio. He actually wouldn't have probably been able to afford the legal defense of his caliber when she first tried, which is kind of what she, I think, was expecting when she brought all this stuff down, and then all of a sudden. He's got a little Elon Musk to Gina Carano action funding his defense. And then it turned into a real fight, which I don't think she ever expected. But because he's kind of this feminist, limp-wristed soy boy kind of thing, I think she expected she was going to ride right over her. And
I thought this suit was brought by him.
No. He didn't say he didn't say any, he was all about the movie. He didn't say a single thing about her until that New York Times article.
But it was about what she was saying about him. I think he brought a defamation suit against her.
Yeah, he brought a countersuit, but that was thrown out last year.
No, but I don't know. Professor, who filed the first suit?
Blake Lively.
Was it? Okay. I thought the most recent thing that was being discussed was his defamation suit against her.
No, trust me, I've been following this way too much than is good for me for the last year and a half. I am all on board with this thing. She went to the New York Times. They planted that article that came out, and for about 3 days, he looked like the devil himself. And then he released all of the text messages that the full context of them, and all of a sudden the public perception turned. But she had the New York Times on her side. They planted some stories. She brought the lawsuits. He brought the counter lawsuits. But see, that's one of the things that their PR thing was making it sound like. He really didn't say a thing about her except in private until all of this stuff was dragged out into the public. He's still a weirdo, mind you. He's still all that stuff. Argentum. He's like, Ista said he was straight, but this is making that claim a little sus. Yeah.
At the end, what I understand is this, is that I think Blake Lively looks really bad, and I think that this is only going to hurt her career. If I were a production company, a producer, a studio, I would never want this actress on my set. I don't need any of this bullshit. Now, the only way that wouldn't have been the case is if this lawsuit, and Ista is right because I was Googling it, that she initiated, and this whole shitty thing that she initiated, unless she would have come out with the biggest victory ever, that everybody's bowing down to her with all the evidence there, indisputable, when she, like, you know, Justin Baldoni is like, you know, run out of town because, like, she's the best thing that ever happened. Only that case maybe would have helped her. Her walking away without getting any money after years of this shit only means to me that, like, she has seriously harmed her career. And even worse, I think she's harmed, like, Ryan Reynolds' career.
Yeah.
And I wonder to myself, I know this is strange, I wonder to myself if Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's marriage is going to survive all of this.
Well, there's some speculation about that, but and the rumor is that Ryan, because he just lost $250 million on his Wrexham team because they failed to promote, he's like, okay, this is starting to affect me. You got to put an end to this. But oh man, I just boomered my thought.
I mean, listen, the thing with the Wrexham team, he took a team that was like in the garbage, you know, a couple of years back, and he's brought them to a really great place. Whether they manage to, like, you know, go up or not, I still think that, you know, he's done really great work, and it is probably a good return on investment. Obviously, if they ever go to the Premier League, it'll be a lot more money. For him,
Yeah.
He has nothing
Absolutely.
to be ashamed of the work he's done with Wrexham. I think.
No, I agree.
Brilliant business he's done actually there.
And he's done great things for the city of Wrexham, the town of Wrexham. It is, and the show is actually interesting and fun. But the fact remains that he just took a big loss. It may work out for him in the long run, but I think the idea was that we've got to settle this like now. Also, Blake Lively lost her friendships with Gigi Hadid, with Taylor Swift. They've all unfollowed her. They're because she dragged all of her Hollywood friends into this.
Imagine those two dum-dums who I have no positive opinion of. Even they don't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
exactly.
Blake Lively and Rachel Ziegler can be in a new movie together. Think of all the positive publicity that it would get, and how much money it would make a studio, right?
Well,
perfect for each other.
You know, if Blake Lively and
Ziegler
and Rachel Ziegler, Pedro Pascal, Mark Ruffalo.
Listen, the idea, the woman who wrote the book that they based the movie on ended up having some kind of nervous breakdown because of, like, all this stuff. But one of the bigger tells was, you know, when they released they unsealed all the deposition stuff that showed that she was basically committing perjury. But one of the things that came out were all these Sony executive emails, and the executives at Sony called her a terrorist. So she's never working for Sony again. I guarantee they're like, do not hire this woman. She will take over your movie and try to take it over and ruin it. And she's said as much in interviews. Like, she's just a pit viper in a dress, man.
Putin 3 says Heard, Lively, and Ziegler.
Oh, don't forget Bella Ramsey.
A buddy comedy. Yeah. That's like, you know,
the Three Amigos.
I ain't watching that.
Bella Ramsey can play the dog.
Yo.
Or the potato. Like, I don't know.
It's the part she was born to play, baby.
Lively, Ziegler, and Amber Heard, and see you next Tuesday. The movie.
But yeah, no, I like what Mark said, that if they do like a Three Amigos remake with Lively, Heard, and Ziegler, internet like explodes. It's like the internet has never broken as hard as it would break if they made that movie.
It'll make Ghostbusters 2016 look like Citizen Kane.
I almost want it to happen because we're going to sit for years with videos on it.
I think this is a task for AI.
You know what? Maybe it is.
That is a great idea. Okay, that would make my memory. That would make the cost of memory like almost worth it at that point, I think.
Bill Holt or whatever that guy's name is will put his vanilla tweet that everybody likes. Is his name Bill Holt?
Oh, is that the guy?
Have you seen the Star Wars stuff that Neural Derp has been making last few weeks?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Pawn Stars with.
Yeah, I inadvertently offended him, and actually, he sort of came after me on Twitter about a couple hours before your show started.
Oh no!
But we've made nice. We've made so. Here's something I learned. Did you know Jeremy Bulloch, the guy who played the original OT Boba Fett? That wasn't his voice.
No,
it was a guy named Jason Wingreen.
Yeah, that was a different guy that did the voice.
Yeah. So he did a hilarious thing about Boba Fett trying to pawn Han Solo and Carbonite to the Pawn Stars guy, and I said something that like it's a fail because you used Tempura Morrison's voice instead of the real Boba Fett, and I said Jeremy Bulloch, and he's like, that's not the voice. You were a total fail, and I'm like, okay, you got me. It's true. And maybe I could have phrased it better. Like, it's AI. You can fix it, right? Like, I just, listen, the guy only said 9 words in the whole original trilogy, but his voice is 100 times cooler than Tempura Morrison's. So I just feel like he should have used that voice. I think we made up. I told him I love his videos, and looks like we're all chilled out now.
Well, I'm happy it all worked out for you, Ista.
Yeah, I do love the Neural Derp stuff, though. The Stargate one just had me in stitches for a week.
No, just the last couple of weeks he's been doing a bunch of these Pawn Star ones that are Star Wars oriented, and the first one was.
General Grievous, was that him?
Yes, the first one was General Grievous. He did like a short. He did a short one with General Grievous, and then he did an extended one, and it's just hilarious. Grievous is there trying to sell all these pawn all these lightsabers because they won't cover the medication for his lung condition.
Yeah. The owners no longer need them.
Yeah, like where did you get these? Like,
and then he's gonna bring in. He's He's like, I don't really know anything about lightsabers, so I'm gonna bring in my expert, and so he brings in the expert, and it's Obi-Wan.
I just realized if Rachel Ziegler is a cokehead, that would explain a lot of her behavior.
It would. I thought the same thing when you said that before. And again, we were talking about Coca-Cola.
Yes, absolutely. Diet Coke, because she's watching her figure.
In any case, you did a poop emoji, which is cool, and I just wanted to highlight 99 cents.
Yep.
Thank you. And then Darren M for $10. Thank you so much. Take the money and run, Price. Hope to see you on Scripts Show soon. He's wrapping up his work, likely doing scripts on Saturdays in a few weeks again. Cheers. I am always up for it, and not that I'm trying to brag here or pat myself on the back, but out of all the guests that have been on Scripts on Saturdays, I may be the record holder for the most appearances on that show, which makes sense. Scripts also has appeared a lot on the streams that I do on TV shows and stuff like that, and I've been on his channel a lot, and he's a friend of mine, and I always enjoy doing streams with him. He's very knowledgeable, and I really like his stuff. The Real Head Case, and that's for $10. Thank you so much, Darren. Always appreciate you here just in general. Darren's been here for a long time, and I always like his interaction, and always nice to see him here. The Real Head Case, also a friend of the channel. Ryan Reynolds used to be married to Scarlett. That is true, and kind of a fumble going from Scarlett to Blake Lively, I think, but to each their own. Then we have from Jason Webster, $5, who says Rachel Zegler looked like she just arrived from cataract surgery.
That is true. You would have a bandage over the eyes.
But you know what I want to do? I'm going to be super annoying now, but you know what I want to do?
go over all of the Met Gala outfits?
Oh,
No, before we go,
Thank you.
I want to see what I did. What did I say? Like, you know how the day the Justin Baldoni story broke, I did a
Yes.
video, giving my analysis, and I wonder if my analysis was good or not, or if it was shitty.
I think from what I can remember, it was similar to what you just said. Like, she's a weirdo, he's a weirdo, he's a male feminist. But yeah, let's check it out.
Let's see if I can find it. And that'll be our final thing that we do. I'm so curious if I got it right or not.
Here, briefly, you can share my screen here, Price, while you find your other thing here.
Oh,
so
that's
this
the
is
thing? Yeah, let's watch
yeah.
it.
We can watch a bit of it. It's actually it's fairly long, but
All right, let's see what you got.
That's so good. This is what AI is good for, right?
Okay, so these are lightsabers.
Correct.
So where'd you get them?
Estate sale.
Estate sale.
The previous owners no longer needed them. I've been a
killed them
collector for many years. It is a great passion of mine. Each lightsaber has a story.
got his ridiculous little machine
There is
that he
a
drives
certain
around in
thrill
back there.
to the acquisition. It is rewarding.
Right.
Yeah,
So
ridiculous
this is a pretty
machine,
big collection. What has you looking to sell them?
I have a lung condition. The Separatist health plan does not cover it.
Oh,
So I must sell my collection.
that's rough, man. How much are you looking to get for them?
That's rough. Man.
100,000 credits.
Look, I'll give you $50 for them.
You fool!
$50, you fool!
You okay? I didn't mean to rile you up with my offer.
You are a bold one.
I got to be honest with you. I don't know a ton about lightsabers, and I'm not going to know what to pay until I get an expert in here. You mind if I call in a buddy to take a look at them?
Fine, but quick.
I've had sellers get heated in negotiations before, but I've never had one almost take my head off and then need a timeout for an asthma attack. He probably just needs his meds.
The scary thing is this almost looks like it could be a real episode of this.
No, it's
right?
it's incredibly good.
Negotiator.
Like the quality
Rick calls
of
me
the
in for anything
recreating the
lightsaber,
characters and their
hypercritical,
voice, vocals and
or
everything.
high ground related that comes into the shop. Those areas are my speciality.
And
So,
this is
Obi-Wan,
exactly
thanks for
Pawn
coming by to
Stars
take
if
a
you
look
know
at
the
these.
show.
It
It's
is,
like,
yeah.
It's 100%
May
what
I?
he does. And the,
Sure.
So, where'd you get all these?
Estate sale.
The state sale?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Lightsabers have been the chosen weapon of the Jedi Order for over 1,000 generations.
It's exactly like
precise,
Pawn
not as
Stars.
clumsy or random as a blaster. Oh
Oh,
my!
so good.
This one looks exactly like Shaq T's. What a wonderful design. I just saw her last week at the temple. So, what has you parting with such a beautiful collection?
I have a lung condition.
Oh dear. I'm terribly sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And the Separatist Army won't cover it?
They denied my claim 3 times.
It denied my claim.
Insurance companies. So uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
Well,
This is very
the
well
condition is
thought out.
exceptional across
It's
the board.
brilliantly done.
Minor scoring on a few of the emitters, but otherwise, pristine.
So what do you think they're worth?
I'd value this collection at approximately 150,000 credits.
150,000?
Conservatively, some of these would fetch more at auction. Right then. I'll leave you two to it. All right, bye, Rick. Good luck with your procedure, General.
Freaking great.
All right. So you heard my guy.
I gotta
150,000. He
make a
knows what he's talking
profit,
about.
so I'll give you 100.
But here's the thing. I take on all the risk. I got to store these, insure them, find a buyer. That costs money. I can give you 75,000.
100,000.
80,000.
95,000.
85,000. Final offer. Not a penny more.
Okay, deal.
All right, I'll check you out right over here.
A few moments later.
Chumley. Chumley strikes again.
Yes. Yeah, that's Neural Derp. Yeah, anyone who wants to go check it out. Some incredible AI videos from Neural Derp. Some of this work that they've done. But yeah, that's their latest one just today was this Boba Fett one. Yeah, this is actually really short.
Is Rick all AI, or did he get him? I'm assuming it's all
Hey,
AI,
buddy.
right?
It's all AI.
I'm going to need you to take the helmet off.
God,
it's
so
store
realistic.
policy.
Not happening.
How do they get the Pawn Stars guy to be so accurate?
All right.
I would like to
Lots
sell
and
this
lots
to
of
you.
video of that
Hold
show.
on.
Yeah.
Is that a Han Solo?
Yes,
The famous smuggler?
allegedly.
Allegedly.
This is incredible craftsmanship. They got the face perfect. It really feels like he's trapped in there.
Yeah,
What's it made of?
carbonite.
Industrial?
Yes,
Where'd you get it?
a job.
Oh, like you commissioned it?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I was hired to deliver this item to Jabba the Hutt. The contract had complications.
Slave one in the parking lot.
Need liquidity. That is all.
So how much are you looking to get for it?
100,000.
Smuggler memorabilia like this, it's a niche market. Look, I'll give you $20 for it.
Try again.
Try again.
You know what? Let me get an expert in here to take a look at it.
Good idea.
I had only seen the Grievous short. I didn't see the extended version.
Yeah,
That
he did
thing
the
had me-
extended version of it. It's so good, unbelievably good.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
But
I
you're
was,
not gonna be able to believe anything going forward because I've watched a lot of Pawn Stars.
Right,
And that's
this-
Rick. I mean, that's him. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, and remember, it's like when they're training these models, it's all about how much data they've got to sort of
Yeah.
teach it what a character is supposed to look like and how they're supposed to sound. If you've got somebody who's made hundreds of hours of television and pretty much all of them, him standing in the exact same
Yeah.
spot, saying the exact same stuff every
stuff.
time,
yeah.
they're going to be able to
Scams
train
going
that up.
around Where people have used AI, bastards have used AI, and to say that like someone's been kidnapped or something has happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so and it's realistic. I mean, that's Rick. I mean, looking at it too, the motion. I mean, it looks. I mean, think of we're thinking of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and CGI, how far it's come. I mean, a lot of the CGI in that was a little bit wonky back then, not high res, even though groundbreaking as it was. I mean, it's unbelievable that, and he doesn't have a Hollywood studio behind him, right? So just think of what we're going to have in the future. So people keep knocking AI, but if you use it creatively, you use your imagination, you come up with things like this that are original, and it's satire. That's a brilliant use, and you can't deny how smart that is and how creative that is, and it takes a talent to do that. It's like any tool. A chisel. Not everyone's a Michelangelo with marble, right? There's only one Michelangelo, but
Yep.
Those tools are the same for everyone. But there's very few people that have those skills.
Yeah, I had to mute my mic during the Grievous thing. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, it's incredible. I saw the little brief one the other day. I thought that's clever, and then for the fourth, he put out that 4-minute version, and man, there's little details in there, and then also like Mark was saying, like if you watch Pawn Stars, the way that it just perfectly mimics the structure and the rhythm of the way that those shows work. It's perfect. It just kills me.
Identical.
The vehicles in the parking lot, that little
Yes.
wonky drug, and then Obi-Wan ship. I'm just like,
yeah.
You can tell, like, it doesn't quite look like Ewan McGregor, but the Pawn Star guy looks like ridiculously spot on. It's crazy,
right? I mean, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, it's scary. I mean, yeah, I know AI is very controversial, but if you use certain tools in the right hands or the right way, it's good. But if you lose your job or but if it helps to solve maybe cure some diseases or do certain things. I mean,
I don't think
I've been
we're there yet.
Not there yet, but I'm saying all these tools, like my dad, was an engineer, and told me at PerkinElmer, he's like, oh, and this is back in the 70s, like, oh, I had the first, we had the first lasers, industrial lasers, and like, but we had them, but he's like, but we didn't know what to use them for, really. Like, you had this amazing breakthrough, and now, lasers and are used everywhere, LED lights, and you just have these iterations of technology where it does seem like magic. Now you can, just measure, measure things, just by pointing at them, right? Or you have a radio that, the ALXEA that you can, talk to in your room. So, certain, technological advances, it's just how responsibly they're used and what, again, there's a ton of AI slop out there. There's crap, and it can be used for evil, but there also can be benefits too. So it's like any tool, like a firearm, right? So but it's an interesting world again, because I keep finding myself using Grok, or instead of doing internet searches, I'm trying to do some research and summarize things and find things that what used to take me half hour, an hour to do, or to summarize things, or make tables, and boom, you ask the AI and it does it. So it's nuts. It's getting nuts. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, he's been doing this for ever since AI was letting people do video. He's been doing this for over a year now, and
yeah,
and a lot of his science fiction stuff, let's just say, it makes the characters have been very appealing.
Yeah, all the redneck music videos, yeah,
yeah.
With very well endowed female characters.
Yes, he makes them very visually appealing. The Lost in Space one, I was about to lose my shit. Like, I'm just like, yep. So, I think we're a while before AI is going to do anything really monumental. But as far as entertainment wise, yeah, man, we've just got some, I've seen some original, like a lot of people do, like Star Trek and Star Wars stuff. I really appreciate the people that are, trying to do it original, the original stuff. Yeah, it looks like about a year ago is when he really started cranking out all of the Star Wars, Star Trek, the Disco, 7 of 9, and they're definitely worth checking out, man.
All right. Well, before we go, I just want to quickly see what I said. I could be wrong. I don't even know. I'm trying to quickly see. This is I did, like, over the course of 24 hours 2 videos, but in one she sued and then he immediately countersued. So this was like in my second video in 24 hours, and those are the only videos. I never talked about it again because I just said to myself, this feels too tabloidy for me, and I just don't have patience to deal with it. So I only did those quick 2 videos explaining about the problem, but I didn't continue to make 70 million videos. I'm not hating on anybody that did. I just didn't feel like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are people who created channels. It's just now they're going to have nothing to do because it was the Blake Lively channel.
I'm not that passionate about it, but I am curious to see what I said. So let me see. And then that'll be our thing.
I've said it in my previous videos. I think this is a 2 to tango situation. I think Blake Lively is a bit full of herself. That's my instinct. She's too used to this kind of treatment. I think that what she did was overkill. At the same time, have nothing great to say about this Justin Baldoni guy. There's nothing that he's said and done to date that's given me the feeling that I especially like him. But at the same time, the second he agreed to all of her terms and they finished making the movie the way she wanted, that should have been the groundwork for making peace with him. That's the professional way. Instead, she went the opposite way. And once she did that, she forced him into a situation where I can at least understand why he wanted to react to what she was doing, because there was a clear effort here to make him look bad. There's already a new article in Deadline explaining that Justin Baldoni is ready to fight back. He wants to countersue her, that it was Lively's team responsible for smears against Baldoni, not the other way around as claimed in her legal filing. He has WhatsApp messages from Baldoni's team. In addition, WhatsApp messages from Baldoni's team have been presented out of context in a way that alters their meaning. He's claiming that Lively's own publicist planted stories painting Baldoni in a bad light with news organizations, and that Lively's legal move is designed to rebuild her public image after she received bad press during the promotional campaign for the film. Yes, a lot of these interviews where Blake Lively looks bad, it's not Baldoni's fault. She doesn't look good in the interviews because something comes off about her snooty and self-entitled. She's promoting products. She seemed very much focused on her own brand. This was a movie about abuse. It seemed like she was thinking about other things while promoting this. I don't especially love either of these people based on what I'm looking at. At the same time, I also think this has already become petty and stupid and completely unnecessary. At least with the Johnny and Amber trial, I would say that in that situation, really serious accusations were being made. The kind that aren't being made here. This is basically a lawsuit about harassment at a workplace. When it comes to this situation, if you have so much money and you want to make movies the exact way you want to set the tone and call all the shots, take your own money and make your own indie productions. Don't go to somebody else's production and try to take over his operation. At the same time, he seems like he probably should have toned down his behavior as he was given an opportunity to work with a more famous person with a production that was a little more high profile. He needed to adapt and not act so familiar the way he does with small productions that he employs his friends and they all make jokes at each other's expense. I just think that wasn't the right fit for a production with Blake Lively, and I think that he should have adapted. At the end, though, when they did complain about him, he did adapt. So he did the best he could. He did what he was asked, they finished the production, and the movie made money. This is a combination of people that are not a good fit to work together. In addition to that, I think we've become too sensitive sometimes. There have been too many politically correct movements that now every person that says anything in any workplace in any situation is in danger of getting a lawsuit, and I don't think that's right either. And especially keep in mind that when you're making a movie, and if it's a smaller production and you're trying to make something good, there's a certain feeling of friends and camaraderie. It's not just a creative process. I think that the personal relationships, working long hours on a set, do matter. And while maybe he was a bit inappropriate for the type of production he was getting, I think also maybe she was a bit oversensitive. Both things could be true. It could be true that he's an idiot and that she gets offended very easily. That could be true. And I actually think that's what's happening here. And I don't know why it needs to be such a high profile thing, wasting taxpayer money for this nonsense. I think this was a situation that could have been ironed out in a more pleasant and friendly meeting between a few colleagues that worked on a movie together that ended up a success. But it is what it is. I understand that we'll be hearing more about Justin Baldoni's counter lawsuit against Blake Lively around the new year or when things start picking back up again. The reason that there's this article here now is that because she did it before Christmas, Blake Lively, and he wanted to respond but couldn't do so legally, he made some kind of statement via his representatives explaining that he's not just taking this, he's actually prepared to fight back. I guess we'll have to see what happens. I will obviously continue to update you all as I hear more about
Never
this
made another video.
If you enjoy my
No more updates. Yep.
You know, the thing is, I made these two videos, and after making the two of them, I already had a headache. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, but you know what? You nailed it on the first try, and all of the back and forth going on for a year and a half, nothing changed from what you said on the first day. You nailed it exactly.
And in order to just bring this whole thing home, because I was talking about Bill Holt and all this other stuff, I just want to show this. This is a really good way. And I know I've been patting myself on the back today. I feel like this whole stream I've been patting. I don't always do that, but I admit it. Today I've been patting myself.
Do it once in a while. Come on.
I don't know. So I don't know. Today I felt like it. So basically, after I saw these tourists, not like us, that were writing all this stuff about Star Wars today, I wrote, did you know following the release of The Last Jedi, I was one of the first people to predict its long-lasting damage and how history would ultimately judge it. And as usual, I was right. Again, happy May the 4th. Now, the thing is that I'm not saying that like I invented the wheel here, but in February 2019, I think that, you know, this tweet was very much like a good prediction of the situation. And I wrote 10 years from now, even the mainstream media will be using The Last Jedi as a textbook example for how to ruin a successful movie franchise, spoil an entire trilogy, and alienate fans. When that happens, not even Lucasfilm's clever PR spins will be able to help them.
Oh my God, 2019 was 7 fucking years ago. It feels like it was just,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, you did that 2 years, not 2 years, 7.
But that's what I'm saying. That you know,
you nailed it.
I feel like usually when I give an analysis many times, like even looking forward, something like that, my analysis is usually pretty decent. I'm not saying like nobody's 100% right all the time, but I think a lot of the times when like I sort of take a step back and look at something and just give my thoughts on it, like something like this, I think it makes sense. Now, people maybe read it now and say, oh, of course it is, but it wasn't of course it is then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and the fact is your reason, and you really are appropriately named. You use reason and common sense, which is something Hollywood never does. So of course your takes are going to turn out to be more correct more often because you're not throwing any bullshit in there.
No, this was like, I was just telling it like it is. Like, I really felt it, and I said to myself, this now is happening. But I knew that like one day somebody will admit this whole situation, and that's just the way it is at the end.
Yeah,
that's a
but
great prediction. Yeah.
You know that video that Lucasfilm put out? They made sure to have Ray in it and some others. They are not going to decanonize those.
No,
with all due respect,
not happening.
Yeah, I love my YouTuber guys, man, but that is just wishful thinking.
I think they're going to be way in the back burner. I mean, look at what's happening at Galaxy's Edge, and they're going to just kind of ignore them. And you could have a subtle, maybe they'll go back and redo some of those stories, but it could eventually happen though, because hey, these companies are in business to make money, right? And if the new, quote unquote new Star Wars it turned out to be a disaster, if you look at the viewing numbers, no one cares about Rey and her new gang. So
absolutely not.
They're certainly going to ignore them, but that's a far cry from actually decanonizing them and doing a full reset. They're just going to skip the time period and pretend it didn't happen, but they're still going to be around, and they are not going to erase them from canon. They're just not.
There could be make it like an alternate history, the force between worlds. That's the theory you get.
I don't see it.
I just don't see it. I don't see there's it when you do that kind of thing with, like, say, Star Wars or Star Trek. Sorry. I think a lot of the fans kind of follow along with understanding, okay, it's a different universe, kind of happen this way, whatever. I think the fans of Star Wars, most of them are way too normies to pick up, to understand, wait, that movie didn't happen? I don't understand. Like, I just don't think it would make any sense.
With the JJ universe and
alternative
universe. But
Star Trek Star Trek's more niche. They're nerdy. They understand time travel and alternate universe. The average normie Star Wars person is like, what?
Well, the good thing about this, as much as I despise this JJ verse, what was good about it in a way was they split canon. So you had everything that happened with Kirk, that all happened, but this was just like an alternative future that was happening, and it turned out to be a disaster. But with Star Wars, they're just, when I went to Galaxy's Edge, as I said before, it was a depressing thing. I went there almost right when it opened. I'm like, where's the original trilogy? I'm like, we're the quote unquote the 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds that have all the money right now that want to spend money and take our kids, or you have both at least. And it just shows you how unpopular it was, and how what a disaster that trilogy was. Some of Star Wars, the new Star Wars, has been good, in terms of a couple of the movies, or Andor and bits and pieces of the Mandalorian have been good, but it all leads up to that final train wreck that whenever I watch any of this, I'm just like, it ends up in such a horrible place, and you wrecked Luke Skywalker and the heroes that you grew up with. And I went to see that movie in '77, and I have still have my original figures from '77 and all my toys, and it's just such a bummer. And same thing with Star Trek too. And it's just, there's much bigger problems in the world, but as a huge fan, if let's see if my camera works. Does my camera work if I turn my camera on? Let's see. Let's see. I think I can get my my camera to work. Is it going to work? Oh, no, it doesn't work now with the whenever I turn. Oh, there it goes. All right. So you can see, people haven't seen my office maybe on Rumble, but here's my Darth Vader Pez dispenser. But you can see the background here.
Wait, how big is that Pez?
Oh, this is my. It's a big Pez, yep.
Yeah,
that's what this Darth Vader Pez, yep.
Jesus,
it dispenses bars of Irish Spring. That's what
I was gonna say. You could dispense packs of cigarettes with that thing, man.
Yeah, this is a fun Pez. And it plays the Star Wars theme. I'm out of the big Pez's though. I ate them all, as you can see. I gotta get a little bit skinnier here.
I've never seen giant Pez like that. You're right. Irish Spring for your
the joke was that Pez tastes like soap. That was the joke.
Yeah. But I could see getting a pack of Marlboros out of Darth Vader's head there. That's.
Yeah. So well, here's my R2D2. Professor, you'd like this. This is my 1977 R2D2.
Yeah, I got mine right behind me.
You got right, yeah. So, but that's what as a fan of these things, it's just these people that that run these franchises and they don't show the love and the care of the characters that we all have, and they just what they did with Luke Skywalker, just fundamentally misunderstanding what makes that character tick, and the hope in Star Wars, a new hope. When we first saw it, didn't have a title, but that's why we all love those characters, and it's the classic adventure, and it's just such a sad state of affairs that when you see current pop culture, and it's turned a little bit, recently, if Gina gets hired back, that would be a nice step, but they've just put these franchises and just destroyer of worlds. I mean, just how could you screw up Star Wars, right? And
it did have a title. The title was Star Wars.
And they didn't know what the movies were going to be. They didn't know what the movies were going to be.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not that it didn't have a title. It's the title was Star Wars.
Right?
Yeah.
The first one. Yeah.
Drunk 3PO, he put something, he was showing that he has this Han Solo figure. How much is something like that worth, his Han Solo?
It's a graded one, I'm assuming. I saw that post.
Yeah,
85.
It's some lucite there. It's probably graded. So yeah,
graded was an 85. I mean, some of the really expensive figures can go, 30,000, 20,000, at the extreme. And of course the Boba Fett.
Is this like a 30,000 one?
I don't know what that.
No,
I don't know what that one is. Can you scroll down a little bit to see what?
Let's see for a second. See,
they're about $6,000.
That's like a $6,000 one.
If it's flawless, yeah. Let's see, but that's the Snowtrooper one. No, a original 77 Han Solo, 6,000 to 8,000. See, I think the Empire ones are significantly less.
There were quite a few more printed up for Empire.
Yeah, but the original Star Wars, especially that Stormtrooper, man. I wonder
by
if
the way,
anybody
when I do
saved
this,
their
can you
coupon.
can you see other windows, or you can not see them?
No, we're just seeing
we just see
the
your
X page.
Yeah, and your DMs.
when I tried to save this thing, did it open like windows with files and stuff?
No.
I never knew how. Not that there was anything interesting. It was like very boring, but I still was just wondering because I never knew how this worked.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the difference. You can buy a loose action figure from the 77 line for a couple $100.
I mean, I just bought another Luke Skywalker yesterday for $30 on eBay. He's missing the lightsaber. It's not carded. It's loose. So I mean,
Yeah, but that's the difference between it being carded and graded and being loose is like $5,000, $6,000.
Yeah.
What do you think this is worth? I'm just curious.
And that's looking to be like I saw one for $750, but it wasn't graded. So
a few $1,000 probably.
What is the exact name of the figure? Do they have it on the box there? It says
first of all, it says Han Solo Hoth.
Right, Hoth outfit. Okay, that's Hoth outfit. That's the one I'm looking for.
Okay, and while you're looking for that, he was asking, what do you have that's like a good collectible? And I put my Super 8 version of Star Wars with color and sound. I don't even have a way to watch this, but I do have Star Wars on Super 8 in color and sound. I'm always very curious. It's only one reel, and I don't know how they were able to put this whole movie into one reel. It's probably like the quickest version of Star Wars ever made, and I'm really curious about it, but I don't even have any way to watch it.
I've got a Super 8 projector. Do you want one?
Yeah, I'm seeing a figure of that one that you showed there, graded. Looks to be in similar condition. I'm only seeing like $80 to $100.
Yeah.
I think that's a newer figure, right? Yeah.
No, I think the Empire and the Jedi ones don't even come close to the original Star Wars, which Like, I have a Darth Vader Lego head, a Mr. Potato Lego head, and a Darth Vader coffee mug. They're not worth anything, but they're worth something to me. I'm wondering, you know how when they first came out, they didn't have toys ready. You got a coupon and you gave your kids the coupon for Christmas.
Yep.
I wonder if any.
That's how I got some of mine. Yep.
Yeah, I wonder what the coupons are worth if
that's
anybody
worth a
ever
ton.
didn't trade their in. Yeah.
Well, if you didn't cut it up, or if you didn't send it in,
Wait,
it's like the old comic books where a coupon, you'd chop up the coupon and send it in, you'd ruin your comic.
Jason Webster says, breaking news, Foghorn Leghorn died today, age 79. Funeral will be held Thursday, after which the deceased will be served in tempura with a lemon sauce and a nice bottle of rice wine.
Oh, gee.
Well, that's good to know. And
I say.
Yeah, I don't know if
better be
anybody's
fried. You're gonna.
Okay, yeah, the coupon sets graded are only worth like around 1,000, but the figures, if you never opened them and got them, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, like if you have a 70s Luke that's never opened, you're talking a 10 to potentially even $20,000 figure if it's in top tier condition. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Mark, do you get what Professor was saying, that you said like Star Trek, they did split canon? I don't think your average Star Wars fan will understand what split canon means, and they're just they're not going to be able to go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just much more of a normie audience. I think that they're gonna have. They're like, wait, that other movie doesn't count now. Like they're not gonna understand like that whole idea. I don't think it's gonna fly as well as it does with Star Trek.
Yeah, and Disney as a corporation, they can't admit mistakes. That's, for shareholders, they just never do that. So even by shunting them off on a different timeline, that would be an admission of failure. And, Iger and Kennedy still have a ton of influence. It's going to be a half a decade, before they stop putting their fingerprints on stuff. They're just not going to let that happen. Even the best they can do, the best we can hope for, is everybody just pretends. It's like wokeness. We'll pretend they don't exist, Well,
I think as time goes on, the legacy of the later series is going to be diminished, and you're going to see less and less merch, and it's going to be, at the very least, it's going to be completely ignored. And maybe down the road we get something where they just kind of ignore that. But what really kills me is the direction that Luke takes. It's not so much that, maybe Rey's a bad character, but it's just the direction that they took our, beloved characters in, and just trashed Luke. I mean, and killing off Han Solo. So it's just, beam me up, Scott, and get me out of here. It's just been so depressing. Yep.
Well,
wow, 20 grand for Vader.
20 grand for this thing. I just want to put this in the background as I do some shout outs, because we're about to wrap up. On Rumble, we have Ultra Ego 2, Elizabeth Quince, Deconstruct, Shy Guy Adventures, Barricade 59 Highway, Bobberger 7775, Mr. Phobos, Jean John Rising, Sharp 8, One Dirty Bird, Weeb Xanadu, Sean Linane, Folsom Lockdown, Darren Mai, Lucas Trust Fund Baby, Chris Tomich, Noel 2024, Knight Rider X, Loyish, Salt Flows, Born to Be Down, Claudius Vanderballs, and on Twitch we had the one guy, Tim Fan 34. Wait, we have a
Rumble rant. Yes, from One Dirty Bird.
From One Dirty Bird. I still have Mr. Potato Head, Darth Tater, and Spud Trooper. Well, that's great, and it's nice to see you, One Dirty Bird. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yep.
So thank you for that. And Professor, if you know the people that were on
yes.
YouTube,
and I will say thank you for all of those over there on Rumble joining us this evening. We did get front paged for a little while, so
cool.
We had some lovely people joining us. So that we appreciate that. Over on YouTube, we had a lot of visitors with us tonight. So I've got our top 50. We got Ghost Fixter, Isaac 556X45, Paula 1966, Corbin Griner, Tony Grigio, Mob 1901, Big Sir River, Quick Stop Dante, Mr. Sir Zero, Captain Palsy, Poker Ace, Zunar J5, Malachi D. Wildman, Trevtoon Art, Dr. Johann Kraus, PhD, Tim Hayes, Massgrave, Lasher, Yitis, Gavin Unit, Scottish Celts 2040, Whalem 03, Ethereal Dragon, Jason Love, Doctor Who, Badfoot, Georgia Cyrex, Strugun, Hoot Owl, Murrockstro, Ms. Sparkles, Jawa Trader Utini, Sagacious 6, Jonathan Conroy, Mark S47, Greg Williams, Ron Donofaro, Tomahawk 511, Marlo Sharondoff, Putin, Mark D with a C, I Lord Corey, Istphobos, Kodo Rob, Caleb Levine, The Real Headcase, The Dead Man, Darren M., and Jason Webster. And of course, we did get some lovely support this evening from a number of people. We had The Dead Man gave us a number of super chats this evening. Jason Webster as well with a couple of different super chats. The Real Headcase got some stickers from Six and Ista. We got a
poop emoji.
Sorry. We got the poop emoji and a little vomit emoji from Sagacious 6. We got another from Darren M. Sorry, it wasn't scrolling down. I had some more like they were down here and it wouldn't. My window was like stuck for some reason. Darren M. We appreciate the support from all of you, and then we also got the Rumble rant from One Dirty Bird right there at the death. So yeah, thank you for all the support this evening. Really do appreciate it.
Yep, and I also want to thank, of course, Istphobos and Mark D with the C for joining us. I put their links in the chat now, which you all saw, and hopefully you're following them and checking out whatever they do. Been another great evening here. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Professor, as always, and thank you, chat, to everybody here. Really, really nice stream today. I think we went over a lot of very interesting issues. And yes, I went on an ego trip and I was a bit full of myself, but that happens sometimes too. So on that very positive note, I think that's a good time for us to be on our way, and we'll see you here again. Today is Tuesday. We'll see you on Thursday at 11:45 p.m. Eastern, because that's what we do. Tuesday and Thursday, the Night Owl, 11:45 p.m. Eastern on this channel. If you're on Rumble, sign up. If you haven't signed up already, make sure to follow us. Any other platform, follow us, subscribe, like, comment. Anything you do, always good for us. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Take care.
Timing.